So, Jermaine, if you were 16, if you go back to your 16-year-old self and you see yourself now, 10 years later, what would you say to yourself? And, how do you think you'd react if you could see yourself now?
That's a great question. So if I could talk to myself, my 16-year-old self, like I'm talking to you right now.
No, if your 16-year-old self saw you now,
Oh, okay.
how would he
I
react?
think he would be very surprised. He would be very, very surprised. So back then, the goal was play football, right? Stay in sports, and just make a way out of no way. Go to college and just do like the traditional, right? Go to work, go to school, have a family, and then that's pretty much it. So if he saw me now, he would be very, very proud, right? This is a route that we never thought would be possible. I remember back when I was like 18 years old, I'm like, man, I want to do this. I want to do social media, but man, I don't make any money. Like, how can I make this work? Like, how can I afford a car? How can I afford rent? Like, can I take care of myself? And ultimately, man, we're here today.
Yeah, I mean, what was that turning point at 18? So it sounds like you're on like a more conventional, traditional path. And then, to see what you're doing now with regards to the bodybuilding, online coaching, sponsorships, like that is definitely not like a beaten path. It's kind of off the track a bit. Yeah. So what actually changed at 18 for you to think maybe this is possible and like actually I want to go down this route?
Yeah. So when I was 18, I was watching everyone online, right? Like I was seeing the guys blow up with their physiques. I'm like, man, they could do that. Why can't I? So I started to dabble with it. I started to take training really seriously. So I graduated from high school, 17 going on to 18. And that's when I really started to dive into like training. Like I've been training since I was 13, but you only do what your class does, right? In that free time. And then when I was 18, I got my first gym membership on my own. And I went to the gym and I just fell in love with it. Right. So taking that inspiration I saw from other guys, taking what I saw in the mirror and what I know I could do, like the ambition I already have, like everything changed. I just rocked and rolled from there.
Were there any people in particular, like, any person that kind of gave you a bit of a path? Like, I don't know if it'd be an influencer or like a particular bodybuilder. Like, who were the people that maybe you saw and they kind of trailblazed a bit and you kind of thought, there's something there for me?
Cool. So in the very beginning, I remember vividly David Lade, Dylan McKenna, and like all of those guys, right? I'm like, man, those guys are the same age as me. Like if they're doing it, then I could definitely do it. And then I sort of graduated to like the Ronnie Colemans and the Jay Cutlers and the Kevin Lebronis. And I started looking up to these guys because I had aspirations to step on the bodybuilding stage. I just didn't know like what category or when I wanted to do it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, before we get into the actual, your bodybuilding career, because there was a quick success, in a short period of time. But before that, so I know that you mentioned you did track and football. Those are the two main sports, growing up. How serious were you with those sports and how far did you actually take them, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, so to give you guys a quick backstory, so football, track, and wrestling, all 4 years of high school, like not a season off. So it was, I started with B League. I don't know if you know what that is, if that's in the UK.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah,
yeah, it's like the 13-year-old league, right? So I started there, and I gave it up when I was 17 going to 18 when I graduated. But in terms of seriousness, it started out like, man, I want to make football work, right? I want to win all of these things. And then
as in go to the NFL serious or like, just make it work as in go get
a brief moment.
College or
a brief moment. I'm like, man, I want to do this. And then that got trampled very fast because it was season after season after season. And I personally felt like I couldn't give one season my all because I was always in preparation for the next thing. Yeah. So my biggest breakthrough, it was in junior and senior year of high school. That's when I got all of my accolades. Like I got athlete of the year. I got third at state championships in wrestling and track. My sophomore year, we won the not like national championship, but the championship, like the highest thing you can win in high school. We won that. So I have like a ring.
In track or?
Nah, football. In
football, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, in football. So I would say back end of sophomore year, going into senior year is where I got all of my accolades. But I went pretty good. I did pretty well, man. My senior year, like I said, I went to state championships. Yeah. I got third in track wrestling, and I got the state championship in sophomore year of football.
Yeah, so you're going like, you did very well in like 3 different arenas. When you say track, what is that? Sprinting? Is that long jump? Is that, what were you doing?
So funny story, man. I started off with distance. So we started off, like everyone at my high school started off with running miles, running the 1 mile, the 2 mile, the 800.
Okay.
And then as you got older and, you got faster and your muscles developed, then you can move it to sprinting. So I did sprinting like 2 meets out of my entire high school track career. So I did hurdles. I did 100-meter hurdles, and I did 400-meter hurdles. And I placed top 3 in the 400-meter hurdles.
Okay, yeah. See, a lot of people won't know this about me, but I actually have a very similar story in that because I did cross country when I was like up to the age of 13, like maybe like 11 to 13. And then I was doing rugby at the time. So probably similar to football, you need to put on size, right? Definitely. And the bigger I got, even though I always had a good engine for like how big I was, I would have to go to the 1,500 meter to the 800 meter to then I eventually did 400 meters when I was like 15, 16. So kind of a similar story, but like I feel like I'm someone uniquely qualified then to know how fast your times are. Like, do you remember off the top of your head, like what were your 1,500 meter times? What was the mile? Can you remember that? Or was that, were you like too young? You know what I'm saying?
I would say my best time in the 400-meter hurdles wasn't anything crazy. I want to say like
sub a minute.
No, that's a minute and maybe like 7 seconds. I like faintly remember
16 years old or something like that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, bro. I think my best ever. I think maybe I squeezed under a minute. My best time ever. I honestly cannot remember, but it was no earlier than like because the guy that won state ran like 52. Like
in hurdles.
He was moving in the 400-meter hurdles. He was moving, crazy, bro. Yeah. He was like low 50s.
I'm pretty sure 52 is my record for just straight.
He was like, these guys are like, he had like horse legs. I remember him like very vividly, bro. Everyone in the crowd, all of my teammates were like, bro, this guy looks crazy. There's no way he's in high school. But I'm pretty sure he got low 50s. I got like maybe like high 50s, low over a minute. Nothing too crazy, but it was good enough to get that placing.
Well, I know, we're doing that kind of distance, and you're also jumping over these hurdles.
No joke.
It's crazy. And it's funny because I feel like, people that have an athletic background, whether that be football or track, a lot of bodybuilders also were wrestlers. So it's like you almost had the trifecta, you know what I'm saying? You're already doing all 3.
Definitely.
How do you think that shaped you to becoming the bodybuilder you are right now? Because, I feel like the best bodybuilders all had some kind of athletic background. They didn't just like go to the gym and that was their first thing,
Definitely. So I would say wrestling gave me that competitive advantage, right? So you're working as a team, but you're your own person. It's 1v1, right? Like whoever gets the most takedowns, whoever gets like the reversals or whatever, you win, right? So I feel like that in itself gave me kind of like the drive to do bodybuilding because I was always competitive, bro. Like if we're playing like a card game or I'm playing, you know what I'm saying, or we're in the gym, I'm trying to win. I'm always trying to win. So that's what really sparked my bodybuilding like journey. And then I started lifting and I started getting traction on social media. And then I ultimately competed at 21, which I'm sure we'll dive into here in a second. And I never looked back since, bro. I never looked back.
Yeah, well, let's go into that right now. I mean, like, so, correct me if I'm wrong, but, so you did at 21 your first ever show and you go and you do men's physique for the first time. You win the overall in your first show.
Yes, sir.
And then, you're being interviewed for that after that first show, and they say, "Oh, so you're gonna do nationals?" And you're like, "What even is
what's
nationals?"
Bro?
You go in there and you win. A lot of people never obviously even win it overall. Never mind go to nationals, and then you go to nationals. How long after?
3 months. So I competed September 26th of 2020, and I got my pro card December 12th of 2020.
Yeah, so
do that. Yeah,
and then win the pro card in the first thing at 21
first
natural as well. Like,
yeah,
that's a pretty impressive first run, So, I mean, walk me through the mindset then of, I guess, achieving success in such a short period of time. Because, I mean, I guess at that time, like, bodybuilding probably wasn't as big as it is now. So it might have not, and social media was just on the come up. So it wasn't like the biggest, maybe it wasn't the biggest thing as it is like everyone chasing a pro card now. But at the same time, like, you almost like skip the entire queue of people take 15 years to try and get a pro card. Some people obviously never get it. And you got it the first time natural. Like, how did it feel to almost be at some people's finish line in your first go?
So transparently, I wish I could go back and do it again, because like I told you, man, I got off stage like for so let's backtrack, right? Before my first show, I was always lean. You know, I was always like maybe like sub 12% body fat, so I was always on the money. So my first prep ever, I coached myself, and that prep had a duration of 2.5 weeks. Like actually tracking macros, like actually doing cardio. Yeah, it was 2.5 weeks. So I was definitely not, you know, like 5% body fat, which I should have been, but I had just enough muscle, like density in the perfect shape, I guess, to really hammer it home. And then he asked me in that post-show interview, he was like, so what's next? Like, do you want to do nationals? I'm like, what's nationals? I'm just going to take an off season. So I was like a brand new baby, bro. I was fresh into like bodybuilding. In that time in between that first show and that second show, like I recorded a voice memo. And so my old phone, I unfortunately lost the footage. But I recorded to myself, like, you're going to turn pro. This show is going to change your life. Everything you want is going to be yours, man. Like, you just got to get to the finish line. Right. Yeah. So I went backstage at that show, and I'm like, bro, there's no way I'm going to stand
looking
next
around
to
like,
guys.
oh, these guys are crazy.
Yeah, there's no way, man. So we stepped on stage. I hit my routine, and then they called me in first call-outs. Wait, actually, no. Backtrack. They moved me to the middle. They moved me to the center, right? I was on the outside, and they called my number to move me to the center. I'm like, there's no way I'm getting this pro card right now. And so it was me and Josh Guidry. He's still like an active competitor right now. Guidry? Okay. Josh Guidry. Yeah, and I spoke to one of the judges after the show, and he said he actually had me in first place.
So it's like it wasn't just like a straight, 1-1-1 for the winner.
No. Yeah. No. So it was I want to say it was a split decision, because ultimately he won. But I did talk to one of the judges, and he said he had me in first place, which was music to my ears, man, which was a really special moment. But yeah, that prep was about 8 weeks, and that's when I got my first coach.
Okay, and then getting that first coach, did that just change everything for you, or like, what was the difference between you just prepping yourself for a few weeks before?
Yeah, so when I prepped myself, man, I crash dieted. Like, I cut carbs completely for like almost 2.5 weeks. Like, I had no carbs at all. I was eating chicken and veggies. So he gave me more insight on what I should do, how I should do it, and why I should do it. So it's not all about starving yourself. It's about manipulating like your macros to get you to where you need to be. So I remember like the first 2 weeks. In the first 2 weeks, I dropped like 10 pounds. Like we were like balls to the wall. Like, this is what I need you to do, man, to make sure we get you in shape. So I started that prep, I want to say at like 195, and the lowest I got was 178. So I was still a little baby, man. I was still small. But yeah, he just gave me insight on what I should do to really get to where I need to be.
Yeah. So almost 20 pounds in the first prep, but I mean, still, like, for first timer, like,
yeah,
I believe 5'10", right? Like 178 at the all-time lowest to be IFBB pro condition is like a ton of muscle up to that point. So
yeah,
I guess having achieved success in bodybuilding at such a young age, there's kind of like two paths that I feel like, most people would take. Like, if someone's in that position, most people would probably be like, okay, well, I can almost cruise by because things come easy to me. You know what I'm saying? So like
100%.
Yeah, they can basically just keep up with everyone else, do good because, they clearly have the genetics and the work ethic for it, but they're not getting the most out of, what they could be doing. Or there's someone that can say, okay, look, I progressed, this quick, this young, how far can I take this? And I guess it's not necessarily black and white. There's probably just a gray area in between, but like, how did you see it at the time? Like, and how has that affected you going forward?
Yeah. So what was your question exactly?
It's
so
like,
I can make sure I can answer it. Yeah.
How did you interpret it? Like, did you see it like, okay, I got this pro card, now I can just chill? Or was it kind of like, what else can I do? You know what I mean? And there's no right or wrong answer. Obviously, I just wanted to know where your head was at, because most people would be like, well, I've accomplished, the goal now. Like, what more is there for me to do,
Yeah, definitely. So that was a big thing I was struggling with. There was so much pressure to take it to the next level. Like, guys are like, man, you're 21 years old, you're a pro, like, go for the Olympia. So that in itself brought like a lot of pressure on me to take the next step, if you understand what I'm saying, to get to the Olympia. So there was 100%. a lot of pressure. But I didn't know, bro, like to be completely transparent, like it just happened so fast. I felt like I couldn't appreciate it because, like you
Yeah.
said, like guys take like 5, 10 years chasing the pro card, and I just got it, you
Yeah.
know. So I'm like, man, I don't even know what to do next. Like, should I try to go to Olympia? Should I just not compete again because I have the pro card? So
Yeah.
it took some time to really like pull everything back from the attention I was getting to
Mm.
really focus on what I want to do and what I want to achieve. So
Yeah.
I took some downtime before I competed again. It took me like a year to decide I wanted to compete again.
Hmm.
And I did. In my first pro show, I cracked top 12. I got 12th out of 27 people.
So beat a
So
ton of pros off the bat as well. Yeah.
off the bat, bro, off the
Hmm.
bat. So it was a really good feeling. It was kind of like I don't know. I feel like I'm achieving all of these things, and it's just coming naturally to me. So
Yeah.
ultimately, I'm like, this has to be what God is like created me for. Like this has to be my divine calling,
Hmm.
and I mean, it completely changed my life from just picking up weights, putting weights down, to stepping on stage, to being a coach. Like it completely changed the path of my life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the interesting thing from that is obviously you took a year to even decide if you want to compete again. So, like, in that time in between, talk
Yes.
me through like how you were thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, were there points where, I'm sure you could have been like, okay, well, I got the pro card. Like, this is most people's goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need to compete anymore. Like, I've completed bodybuilding, especially if you want to stay natty, obviously,
Yeah.
and you have, like,
Yeah.
take it to Olympia, almost like, well, pretty much everyone is at the
100%.
next level. So it's like, you must have all these thoughts racing through your mind, and like, what would take me through that thought process over that year?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I competed December 12th, and immediately I gained 30 pounds back.
Okay,
So
so
that
you
was
weren't
kind
familiar with the
that
reversing, and
that
yeah.
was kind of crucial. Like I was a baby to the game, and like I didn't
Hmm.
understand. After that first show, I got back onto. So I competed on Saturday. I enjoyed food on Sunday, and Monday I had to start prep right away to get ready for nationals. So I
Okay,
didn't have
yeah,
like downtime to where I just ate whatever I wanted to eat. And then December 12th, I competed, and December 14th, I was up 20 pounds. Like 2 days
damn.
later, I was up 25 pounds.
You had like two
So that
preps worth of food cravings to
it
make up,
was
and
so
yeah.
bad, bro. I ate steak, I ate pizza, I ate pizza fries, I ate wings. Like I just
Hmm.
ate whatever I wanted. Over the span of 3 days, I probably ate like 30,000 calories. I'm not even kidding. Like I was just eating just because I could.
Yeah,
So that definitely played a role on me. Like, man, should I compete again? Should I hang it up? And then I started looking back at the old photos and just, man, let me see how far I can really take it. You know, what happens if I
yeah,
step on stage and I just somehow magically qualify for the Olympia, which is
yeah,
obviously can't happen. But it was
yeah,
more so holding myself accountable because I'm living in what I prayed for. So I prayed for this thing. Now what am I going to do with this thing? Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, 100%.
So it was really tough navigating like the first 2 or 3 months after, because that was my first time like ever achieving a goal that big that I've set for myself. 'Cause that's like a big goal.
Hmm.
Um, and then I made a decision about, I want to say 6 months out from my show to like, all right, I gotta lock in. Let me step on stage and let me do my thing. So I stepped on
Yeah,
stage again, and I got 12th out of, I don't know, I think it was like, I want to say maybe 30 people, maybe 30 people.
yeah,
Um, and then I'm like, bro, this has to be what I was created for. Like, there's
yeah,
no way that I got my pro card in my first try. I cracked top 12 at my first pro show against enhanced athletes, being
yeah,
what I think I was 22 years old at that time. Like
yeah,
this has to be what I was created for. So I kept competing. I kept competing, and like you can just feel yourself kind of growing up in your bodybuilding career. Because back then, I'm like, all right, man, dang, what should I do? Should I take it to the next level? Should I chase this thing? Should I be? Because I'm telling everyone, I want to go to Olympia, man. I got to do whatever it takes. But ultimately, I made a decision to be a pioneer for natural bodybuilding, and that's exactly
yeah.
what I'm doing. So I'm stepping on stage. I'm close to winning my first pro show. Now I'm helping guys do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it's actually amazing how like, yeah, that aligns with your, as I see you now, like, with your brand and who you help. Because I've been to the
Yeah,
shows, for the people listening, like I've been to tons of shows and I've seen him with his clients and they're killing it, and he has
thank you, brother.
his niche with the natural bodybuilders, and he's obviously walking the walk in that regard. But I guess, yeah, because pretty much, most people in your position, again, they'd be thinking, again, look what I've achieved natural. If I can
Hmm.
beat guys when I'm natural who are on gear for probably years,
Yeah.
why not just try and almost win everything on gear? So what was the mindset? And is there like what's the reason behind not wanting to kind of make that leap?
Honestly, people are gonna make fun of me, man. But I'm a big family guy, so
Mhm.
I try to imagine. Because first off, in the beginning, my mom was completely against like bodybuilding, completely against social media. She's
Mm.
like, "Man, what are you gonna do with that? Like, how are you gonna support yourself, your family, and I want you to stay safe." So she's just against natural bodybuilding in general, right?
So
So
she's
I
even,
see
but
it.
yeah, the natural bodybuilding is so
You
like
feel what I'm saying?
to
So
even be
how
doing
can
natural bodybuilding's already, like kind of going,
I'm
yeah,
a yeah, literally already. So I
yeah,
imagine myself having that conversation with her, like telling her, like, like ultimately I make my own decisions. And I just feel like that's not the best decision for me. Does that make
yeah,
sense? Because
yeah,
put it in perspective, guys are chasing that dream of being on Olympia. They've been on the enhancement wave for 5, 10 plus years, and they're not even anywhere close to where they need to be to get to the Olympia.
mm,
Show after show, year after year, it's the same thing. So why not stay over here and do what I do? Why not stand out? Why not be a trailblazer and show these guys that I can do it naturally and so can you? Like not
yeah,
not saying you'll look like me, but
yeah.
if I can do it, man, why can't you at least try?
Yeah, 100%. I thought for a second there when you said family, you're going to say like the fact that like your chance of obviously having kids goes down, but you're not
Oh
referring to
no, bro,
that.
no, bro. If you, I'm sure a lot of people that do it the right way. Like they track all of that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, definitely not, bro. Definitely not that.
But yeah, okay, so it sounds like it's more like, I don't know, it's more like, when you're talking about family, it's that, maybe growing up, what I'm saying, like bodybuilding wasn't necessarily, again, it's to do with the traditional path,
Yeah,
that already
100%.
doing natural bodybuilding is kind of stepping out the norm. And so
Mm-hmm.
like that's enough. And like you're thinking to go extreme to going on gear, like that's
Yeah.
even just, that's way too far. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, definitely. And
Awesome.
it's like two perspectives. One, I feel like a lot of people say, "Bro, you achieve this naturally. Like, just go to the next level and see what you can achieve on that
Mm,
side." And then
mm,
the other side is you achieve so much naturally. Why not just see what the limit is? Why not just keep like continue down this path and
yeah.
be the best that you can be in who you are in yourself. So it's really two sides to that story. But I chose to be on this side. Why not just be a pioneer and just show these guys what I can do? See how far I can go.
Yeah. 100%. Well, yeah, there's definitely a ton of natural guys that are going to be looking at
Oh
physique.
yeah.
And I mean, not to say they're going to achieve the physique like yours, you know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
definitely showing what's possible and seeing like how far you can take it naturally is also massive
Definitely.
respect for that.
Thank
I
you, brother.
guess so. After your experience again, the quick success turning pro at 21, talk me through like the next few
Yes.
years up to now because you've competed a bunch of times and from my understanding, you've been slowly climbing the ranks. Like you just got second in your last show, one off the Olympia qualification. So it's
Yeah.
like you have been progressing, but it hasn't been also again as fast as it was before. So how have you
Yeah.
matured mentally and how have you matured in your physique? To level
Mm,
up the ranks.
that's an awesome question, man. So going back to when I was 21, like I said, I was a baby, bro. I was 178 pounds, like dice, shredded. This last show I got down to about 180. I think I was 187 at the lowest. So
Mm,
just the maturity in my physique from when I was 21 to now being 26, this is insane. So I look back, I'm like, I achieved all of this naturally, bro. Like, why not keep going? Why not like just stay in my lane and create something for myself instead of just following what the norm is? Why not? Like, I took a chance on being here doing bodybuilding, so not
yeah.
why not take a chance in creating my own lane? So yeah, when I was 21, like I had a lot of growing up to do. Like I said, I binge ate after my show, gained 30 pounds. I gained so much weight after. So from show to show, I got a little bit better, right? I took it a little bit more seriously. I trained a little harder. I dieted a little smarter. And then fast forward to the second show, I got top 12th. And then my third show, I
Hmm.
got smoked, right? Like it
Mm,
was complete opposite of what my second show was. So my first pro show, I got 12th. And my second pro show, I got 33 out of 37 guys. So I got
okay.
absolutely humbled, bro. They called first call outs. I'm like, all right, cool. Second, I'm like, all right. Third, I'm like, there's no way, bro.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
When they called my number, it was me and like three other guys that I'm like, and that hurt me. That absolutely devastated me.
I
So
can imagine.
in
Yeah.
my mind, I'm like, if these guys are getting better, if they're progressing as they're getting older, and I'm regressing, like I'm placing worse now than I was before. So ultimately, I made a decision to go into my own lane. And then after that show, I did my first natural pro show, and then I got third. And then I got the judges' feedback. I got a little better, and then I got second in a very, very close battle. So now I'm like in the midst of a 16-week growth phase.
Yep.
So the next time I step on stage, it should be the one, man. I'm doing everything I need to do right now to make sure I guarantee my spot and I stamp my first overall.
100%. And yeah, I've been training with you a couple of times, and yeah,
Yeah,
the
bro.
work's being put in. So
Thank you,
I
brother.
guess, with getting that setback, I mean, two things on that. One, would you say, potentially the placing? We went to the Texas Pro earlier this year and we saw the guys up there, like the division
Mm-hmm.
has changed. The guys,
Yeah.
especially from when you turn pro at 21 to now,
Mm-hmm.
the division has
It's night
changed
and
and
day.
people are bigger. You need way more conditioning. Like, so as in, like, there's probably an element to which, again, just like the enhancement side, like,
Yeah.
obviously that at a certain level, like it's almost necessary to achieve a certain look, right? So do
Mm-hmm.
you think like by the time you were at your third show, I believe that one, which wasn't the best placing, that played a
Mm-hmm.
factor? Is it just, that's, I guess, the first question.
Yes. Yes, because my first pro show, I'm sorry, my first pro show to my second pro show was another year. Right. I'm like,
Mm,
man, I gotta grow, bro. But there's no if these guys are bouncing out 5, 10 pounds of muscle in between shows, there's
yeah.
no way I can keep up with that. And that humbling just told me I gotta make a decision. Either I keep trying to run with the
Yeah.
big dogs playing a little dog game, or I gotta change divisions. And that's what sparked my interest in doing the natural bodybuilding. And I honestly would have done it earlier, but this past year, like this year, is when they added the most natural shows in. So now I
Yeah.
actually have an opportunity to shine where I belong.
Yeah. And that's the Ben Weider pro shows, if I'm correct,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes. So you gotta win a pro show. I think they changed the rules going into next Olympia, but for this Olympia, you have to win a pro show. Like the shows I compete in, you have to win the Ben Weider, and the winner of the Ben Weider qualifies for the Olympia.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So next year, I think it's a point system. Did you see that? That like,
Yeah, I
you
saw
have
that.
to win. Yeah.
So it's more,
It's gonna
more,
be
more
interesting.
competing for everyone and it's more
Yeah,
competitive. Yeah. Less places.
definitely. Definitely.
But yeah, and then again, to just contrast again, the quick success to the pro card at 21, and then to have, I guess, was that the biggest setback to date, when you got that placing and you're
Uh-huh.
in the last call and you're thinking, what is going on? Like, how did you manage that? And, talk to me about, overcoming that, because it's all good, you know, to get the quick success in some
Yeah.
sense, but a lot of people, they're also going to resonate with, they might be in a hard time, or like, they're
Mhm.
struggling with not the best placings. And how did you get out of that to then, again, get to better placings that you're at right
Yeah.
now?
Get back to work. That's all it is. Like I tell my guys, like right now, like I call them after the show. I call every guy after the show. Hey, if you win, get better. If you don't get the placing you want, you get better. And that's what
Mm,
bodybuilding is. It's very subjective. So just take the feedback from the judges and just get back to work. Whether you win
yeah.
or lose, man, it never stops. It literally never stops.
Yeah.
Even if I won my previous show, what can I do to be better? What can I do to come in next time and not give anyone else a chance? Because that's always the goal. So
Yeah.
just navigating, like, man, I did show after show. I don't have enough size, or I'm not conditioned enough. All right, so sit down, analyze yourself, look at the pictures, right, and just work. Right, if you got to come in tighter, diet more. If you got to put on size, take time off and grow. Like you can't expect, especially as a natural athlete, you can't expect these changes to happen overnight. Like you got to give yourself time.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing that helped me navigate is just shifting my mentality from, okay, like I want to win and then that's all, to even if I win, right? So if I win, then that's all, to even if I win, I'm going to come back better next time, because
Yeah.
that's what champions do.
It's like the process based thinking, like, just again, you're going to be the kind of person who, whether you win or lose, you show up the next day and you put in the same amount of work, because
Yes, sir.
you're going to get
Every
better
time.
either way.
Every time.
Yeah, and I think that is something that a lot of people definitely struggle with, because, having, clients myself, and obviously just seeing tons of people around me, like, obviously fitness is bigger than it has ever been. Bodybuilding's bigger than it's ever been. But
Way
so
bigger.
many people will be like, trying to achieve a goal by a certain date. And
Yeah.
again, that's what I'm saying earlier on, with regards to you getting the pro card at 21. A lot of people, if their goal was to get a pro card, they're going to
Yeah.
be like, it's like, what do you call it? The wolf climbed the hills, hungrier than the one at the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's
sir.
like,
Every
if
time.
if if you win and you achieve the result and you only are doing it because of the destination, where's
Yeah.
the hunger then to go to the next level? You know what I'm
There
saying?
is no hunger. There
There is
is
no
no
hunger.
hunger.
So as long as, but if you just want to get better and the placing is good, but like you're going to keep going regardless, that's how I
Yeah.
guess like you keep improving for a long period of time, right?
Definitely. And Baker and I actually, the guy on his previous podcast, we shared a quote once that says, "A man that loves climbing or loves the
Mm.
journey will always be like, he'll never be satisfied. Like he's always like on to the next thing." Like I can't remember exactly the quote.
It's the man who loves walking will go further than the guy who loves the
Then,
destination, right?
yes, that
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm big on, man. It's the journey, right? It's the travel and like the destination. Right? Once you get that first Lamborghini again, you can't have it again. Once you get
Mm.
that first Lamborghini, you can't feel that feeling of getting the first one again. So you just got to fall in love with walking, man. You got to fall in love with the daily trials and the tribulations and the adversity, because that's ultimately where your character is built. That's how you
Yeah.
get better.
I mean, on that topic as well of like character building. I mean,
Mhm.
so obviously the two main things for you is the
Yeah.
online coaching, you know what I mean, and the bodybuilding. Out of
Yes.
curiosity, out of those two, which one would you say you faced more adversity and which one has been harder? I might know, I
Mm,
might think I know the answer, but I just, what do
mm.
you think?
That's a great.
Which has been harder?
So which one did I face like the most struggles with? Like
Yeah,
the
I guess.
I would say bodybuilding. I would
Mm.
say bodybuilding. Because like I said, there was so much pressure, bro. Like every time, like I would post something like, "All right, when are you gonna start a cycle? When are you gonna go on gear? When are you gonna try to make it to the Olympia?" So there was so much pressure. Like every day, I would wake up, and it was really like if it affected me, because if I don't take that step, then I'm letting everyone else down. But I'm sacrificing what I want to do, and if
Mm.
I don't take that step, or if I do take this step and I don't, it's just a lot of outside noise that was
Yeah,
really getting to me. So I just had to really sit down with myself, like, what do you want, bro? What do you want
yeah,
to achieve? And that would be the priority.
yeah. I think it's actually funny. There's this Nipsey Hussle, the rapper.
Yeah, yeah.
He had this quote, and it was like, would you rather be at peace with yourself and at war with the world, or at war with the world and at peace with yourself? You know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
think, but the point
Wait,
is
yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
what did I say? Did I say the same thing twice? But
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
it's like, if the world wants you to do something, you know what I'm saying? Are you going to do even if you don't want to do it, you're going to do what they want to make them happy? Or
Hmm.
even if they don't like it, are you going to do what you want to make you happy? And it sounds like,
100%.
you did what you wanted at the end of the day when you really thought about what you wanted.
Definitely.
And I mean, years down the line, I mean, it seems like you made the right decision if I'm not correct, huh?
Yeah, definitely, man. I just didn't want to get pushed into the next level if I wasn't ready, right? So, like I said, there's guys like still doing it to this day, made that jump and things just haven't worked out like they expected it to, and
Mm.
I just didn't want to be that guy, man. This is what I love. I love training. I love helping people. I love bodybuilding and stepping on a stage. So I don't necessarily need that to feel the fulfillment. I feel like a lot of guys want to chase the Olympia because they think that'll bring them fulfillment. But my
Hmm.
fulfillment is this. My fulfillment is
The
telling you my
process.
story, right?
Mm. Mm.
And how I can help my guys and how we can share our ideas. Like this is it, bro. Like this is everything I prayed for. So I don't need anything else to fulfill me because this already does.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
guess onto the online coaching side of things. I mean,
Yeah.
that hasn't been a straight, again, it's never easy, right? But it hasn't
Never
been
easy.
straight A to B. So talk to me about that journey. At what point did you kind of think, like I could see myself doing online coaching, and then
Hmm.
kind of run me through that journey? Because, again, similar
Yeah.
to bodybuilding, there's all these hurdles that come up, there's highs and lows, and it's a learning experience, right?
Definitely. So I competed in 2020 and I started coaching um late 2021, and then
Hmm.
I released my coach. Well, I was helping guys. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a coach. And then in 2022 is when I released my coaching program. And I know everyone's going to make fun of me, man, but I was charging $50. I'm pretty sure I told you this before, but I
Mm.
charged my first client $50. I charged like my first 15 clients $50 per month. So I
Mm.
was like creating macros, meal plans, training
They're
programs,
getting the best
weekly
deal of their
calls.
lives. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, all for $50 a month.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to build that confidence in myself. So it was all lifestyle. Like I want to say the first 30 people I helped was all lifestyle. And then I took a chance on my first competitor. And we got him on stage. He got third. I think he got first in his class and like fourth or third overall. But he just wasn't lean enough. And that's something I always struggle with is when they complain like, hey, I'm hungry, I'm tired. All right, let's not do cardio, right? Like I was one of those coaches that every time
Being
they
too
complain,
agreeable, right? Yeah.
yeah, I'm switching. They're telling me what they want and I'm providing that. But
Yeah.
in order to be a good coach, you got to tell your guys what they want to hear or tell the guys what they need to hear, not what they want
Hmm.
to hear.
Hmm.
So And then fast forward a few months, like I said, I got my first guy on stage. We did good, but we could have done better. I take full responsibility for that, as any good coach would. And then I got a little better, right? I learned a little more. I pushed my guys a little better, and then uh, I got a guy on stage again. We didn't win that overall. It took me some time to win that overall, but we were
Mhm.
racking up class wins. Guys were pulling up, showing up in shape.
Yeah.
And I can't remember my first overall. I want to say he's a guy that just competed recently. I think Johnny. I think he was my first ever overall. And man, I was so excited, bro. I was so excited. I'm like, man, this is everything that I'm meant to do. So then I
Yeah.
started increasing my prices to 75 and then 150, right? And then now I'm like, well, at the beginning of this year, right? Like late last year, 2024, to now, I'm like, bro, you can't tell me anything. Like my guys always show up in shape. Like this is what I do. Big on relationship, big on communication, and just the confidence from day one to now is like just night and day different.
Yeah, it sounds like, as the proof has increased, the confidence has increased, you know what I'm
Definitely,
saying? And as
definitely,
experience has increased, again, the confidence has increased.
definitely.
So I guess talk me through what even made you want to become a coach in the first place. Like, because again, there's more online coaches than ever right now,
Mhm.
right now. But
So many.
still, like at that point, in 2022, you said you launched it. I
Yes.
mean, there were less than there are now. So what kind
Mhm.
of made you? You're already competing. You've already progressed in bodybuilding. You're progressing physique. What made you actually be like, okay, I want to do online coaching?
So when I when I first started and I first released it, like I was helping guys out for free. Like, all right, man, what are your goals? Let's work together and let's get you to those goals. So technically my first guys were free. I was just helping them.
Hmm.
Um, and then I just felt like a fulfillment, right? Like I stepped on stage, I got my pro card. Now I can help other people achieve their goals. And like it gives me fulfillment. Like I remember waking up in the morning, I'm like, all right, let's see how I can help today. Right. Checking in on the guys that I were helping out for free. This is awesome, bro. Let's go to the next level. So I would say just the fulfillment and helping people. Cause as you know, man, I'm a big man in my faith. I love Jesus. So just serving people, serving looks different for you. It looks different for me. But what I'm doing right now, I feel like I'm fully living in who I was created to be. And I'm
Hmm.
serving people in that way. Cause my guys, we have phone calls, talk about God. Like, hey, you're going through anything, pray about it. Right.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's me serving and giving away my gift and I'm helping people. I'm leading them in the right direction. So I mean, I honestly cannot see myself doing anything other than what I'm doing at this very second.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like from the journey that you've been on, even like working out when I'm sure you didn't know what bodybuilding was, it's
Mhm.
led you to where you are right now. And it's like all the ducks are in line, kind of feeling like, you're called with the mission that you're on right now. I guess, was there a time where you were really questioning things, like you really like were uncertain, or did you always just have like
Oh yeah.
faith, in the sense that like, things were going to work out? Were you ever like, oh, I don't
Ooh,
really know where
that's
I'm
a good
going,
question.
questioning things, I don't
Mhm.
know, maybe after a certain show placing, or like maybe even before that, you know what I mean? Like how
Yeah.
much uncertainty has there been, and how much just like alignment has there been,
That's
over the
a
process?
great question. So to answer like the adversity side, if you will, or like the doubt and the fear, I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I still have doubt sometimes, right? Like I'm not perfect. Um, I mean, I try my best to be the best I can be, but I am not perfect. So it was a lot
As no
of
one is. Yeah.
uncertainty, a lot of doubt in the beginning. Like I was selling workout plans. And I remember I told Addison about this. Like I remember screenshotting my bank account and I had $1 in there. I had $1 in there, and that I was like posting every day. I was selling workout plans, and I'm like, bro, there's no way, I can make this work. Like, this is just not for me. But I kept going. I kept getting a little better. I started posting a little bit more. And I just showed up for my people. And then ultimately things just started rocking and rolling, man. It was never easy. Like it's never linear, right? It's never a straight line from here to there. Like it's going to
Yeah.
be some adversity, man. And I really doubted myself, especially with that first guy. I'm like, man, like I thought we did everything right, but he wasn't lean enough. So ultimately it just comes through trial and error to get to the place you want to be. You just got to try, you got to fail. You're going to doubt yourself, but that's where faith is the biggest, right? That's because my God doesn't make any mistakes, right? So there was a reason that I went through that adversity to shape me into the man that I am today. There's a reason in the past relationships, things didn't work out because he was preparing me for the relationship I'm in right now. So I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, bro. Like there's a reason we're talking right here, right? The reason may not be apparent tomorrow or the next day, but I'm telling you, there's a reason for everything, bro. And
Yeah,
that's just
100%.
what kept me going, because I'm like, these other people can do it, right? I have faith in myself. Like, even though I know it's not going to be easy, what can I be in a year from now? What can I be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now? And it was a combination of my faith and my ambition to not give up. And like sometimes when I'm driving alone, I think back like, bro, like I really am living in what I prayed for,
Yeah.
and like you always want more, right? Like, man, I got to do this, right? I want to get a new truck and I want to have all these things, but you just got to take a minute to reflect and just think about how far you came, man, because that's what matters the most. As long as you're better than you were a year ago, you're all right. You're doing the
So
right
so
thing.
so take me back to the biggest, like, I guess, pivotal moments. Maybe someone listening is trying to do a similar thing, and it's like, let's say they're already posting content, you know what I mean, and they
Yeah.
have a decent physique already. What it's never one thing, you know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
were there any things that you changed in, like, the messaging? Was it when you started posting more testimonials? Was it when, I don't know, yeah, you changed the content from one thing to another? Like, where did
Yes.
things start actually picking up? Because yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? You clearly had, and we spoke about this, like it wasn't just
Yeah.
overnight, it
No.
takes years, and it's like you learn one thing here, one thing there. But at the same time, like with what you know now, I bet if you went back, things would happen a lot quicker, right? Because you had to learn lessons the
Yeah,
hard way. So maybe
definitely.
what are some of those lessons you feel like are the most pivotal ones in the journey?
Yeah. So number one is understanding what you want to do and doing
Mhm,
whatever it takes to get you to that goal. So backtrack to like let's say the time frame of 2 years ago to about a year ago, I
mhm,
was big on like posting things for views and comments and likes, like chasing like the influencer and just trying to have as many people on my page as possible. I mean, yeah, so I was getting clients here and there, making some money here and there, right? But I just I didn't feel fulfilled. Like I felt like I could go 100% more. Like I felt like I had more to give. So the like recently the biggest thing was changing my perspective on content on social media. So I gotta provide value. Like who is going to trust me to coach them if they don't even know I coach? Right? If they
mhm.
only see my physique, there's no talking, there's no clients. Like how can they trust me to get them to their goal? Like keep in mind, these are real people paying real money to get real results. So if I don't show them that I can provide those results, why buy from me? Right. So the biggest change in kind of my path, like going to where I want to go, is accepting that one, every post isn't going to do the best, and two, people like me for me. People trust me because I am me. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah,
Yeah. So the biggest thing is just shifting from chasing the views and likes to chasing the providing value, chasing to have like real conversations and helping real people,
yeah.
real impact.
I guess like something about social media is, yeah, I feel like there's different stages. For me personally, I remember like even first posting my physique was like pretty crazy in the
Mhm.
UK because no one else is really doing it. You know what I'm saying? So like I would also see these people I look up to, and I see them like in other countries, or whatever, and I'd be like, I see the vision, you know what I'm saying? But posting, even making an Instagram account, you know what I'm saying? Like I had a big debate. Do I keep my original Instagram account that all my friends on it? I
Make
actually
a
ended
new
up
one, right?
I made my own one, you know what I'm saying? Back to
Hmm.
0 followers. And it's
Yep.
like I feel like there's things all, there's different levels, you know what I'm saying? Because at the beginning, it's just about getting the first post out. Then it's about, a big one is tons of guys will post their physique for years. And only
Yeah.
recently I've been also just trying to speak more because the fear is, I guess, like if you really put yourself out there, I mean, putting your physique is putting yourself out there more than the average person, right?
It is. It
But
is.
after a certain period of time, like you put in the reps. So like, it,
Something has to work, right?
yeah,
Something has
but
to shake.
yeah, but it's like with regards to the speaking, I feel like that's something that I've struggled with. And it's like everyone around me who knows me will know I think a certain way, speak a certain way, am a certain way. But trying to translate that into
It's
content
tough.
is like you're
It's
putting
tough.
yourself out there like for real. And the fear I guess is like if someone doesn't like, your physique, whatever it is what it is, that's not you. But if you
Hmm.
speak what you actually think and you convey like how you really feel about certain things, and then
Yeah.
people kind of reject you, there's like a human need to almost be like you don't want to put yourself out there
Lash
like
out,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like,
definitely.
how have you navigated that and actually speaking your mind on certain things to connect to your audience more when
Yeah.
like, I guess there's like a natural human inclination to not want to do that and be like shunned away by the tribe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. So two things. One is I was so used to seeing like, especially when you're on prep. When you're on prep, everything just goes viral. You can post yourself in the mirror like 100,000 impressions. So I was on prep. I was posting like my physique. So every post was doing like crazy numbers. Like then I would post Addison like the couples content like
Mhm.
5 million views on average on every single video. So my everything was climbing. I posted my first talking head video in 1 hour. It had 15 likes, and I'm like, yeah, I was
I
so
hear that,
I
yeah.
hid the likes, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm hiding
I
comments.
hear
I'm
that.
like, man, there's no way I can do this. But I spoke to Baker actually because he's like. He sees it all the time. Like that's what he does. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro, like just make this switch. Like I understand it's kind of scary doing something that you're not comfortable with.
Mm.
But it's the uncomfortable moments that get you to where you want to go. So
Yeah.
I sat down. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about the likes. I'm not gonna worry about the comments. I'm just gonna stay grounded and stay focused. So I started posting. Yeah, I kept posting. I kept going. So that 13 likes turned 300, and then 500, and then ultimately, like I post it now, and it's my regular content. So I would say just focus on what you want to do. Like look at the people that are performing at a high level, like whether that's fitness, whether that's finance, whether that's business, and do
Mhm.
exactly what they're doing. Like
Mhm.
I watch a lot of Myron Golden, and he said,
Mhm.
if you want to be a millionaire, look at what the millionaires are doing and literally do that. Like you can't fail. So it's ultimately just looking at the highest level of what I want to do and replicating that and just
Yeah.
do it over and over and over again.
I think the thing also about putting yourself out there and for example you're saying like the likes going to like 15 in the first hour, something like that. I've experienced that a
So
ton of times
bad,
as
yeah.
well.
Mhm.
And it's sometimes with the most valuable stuff as well. It's like people don't even want to hear the real value. They just want to
They
see
don't
like
care.
quick entertainment or I don't know,
Yeah.
physique and but yeah, I think the thing is like it's like social media almost like is programmed in a way that again, the bigger the number the better. The more
Yes.
likes, the more views, the more engagement,
The
everything,
more
the better
everything.
because yeah. But then it's
Mhm.
just that is the number is not an indicator of how the quality or you know what I'm saying like how good that audience actually is because
Yeah.
as you know from coaching it's not about having like hundreds of thousands of people that
Doesn't
are
matter.
like bought in like 1%.
Mhm.
If you had a following of 100 people and like all 100 of them are like deeply bought in, that's more
Then
valuable than hundreds of
running it
thousands
up
who are like 1% bought into you. So it's like the
100%.
numbers, it took me a long time I thought when I first started, if I had 10K followers, I'd be set for life. I thought
I'm
like
it,
that's
right? I
that's the
made
magic
it, bro.
number. But
I made it.
obviously that's not the case. And that's definitely been like a learning point for me as well. I mean,
Mhm.
what else regards to, on the business side then, like have
Yeah.
you learned with regards to like marketing, sales, like product, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
where are the biggest things that you've developed over, the last couple of
Mhm.
years of having your own business?
Yeah, definitely. So in the beginning, it was all physique, like no talking, only physique, posting the same videos over and over because I knew that worked.
Mm.
So taking what so fast forward from 2020 when I first competed to now 2025, it took me like till 8 months ago to really make that switch. So go from chasing numbers to focusing on growing your business. Because like the sponsorships, the likes and comments, they come and go, right? But if you have that foundation of people that really ride with you, and you have like undeniable proof that you've been stacking, like
Hmm.
you could go back to zero and you can make it all over again. So it's not necessarily chasing a number, but it's having the skill set to get back to where you once were.
Mm.
So I feel like I've been working on my skill set a lot more. So it's talking, it's building trust, it's delivering results, it's helping my guys achieve their goals. Like we just had an overall yesterday or 2 days ago, right? So just stacking this up over and over to if it all went away, then I know exactly what to do to get it back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So I would say the biggest change for me is skill set and knowing what to do, and not only knowing, but applying that and actually doing that. Because step number one is knowing, and step number two is the hardest, is the doing,
Yeah.
right? It's to continue to doing. Um, yeah. So up until about 8 months ago, when I really made that switch, like this is the best year, like in terms of like business growth, like ever. Like I couldn't even imagine being where I'm at right now. I knew if I kept going, something would shake. But I mean, I'm truly feeling blessed, man. It's been a huge year.
Yeah, so your story is already just like a testament to the idea that, like, again, especially in entrepreneurship, progress isn't linear. If anything, it's very
Never.
much like almost like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like,
Hmm.
because it takes a long period of time of failing, but trying
Yeah.
to, course correct and acquire the skill set as you're talking about. But
Yeah.
then once you have the skills, then, the results
Keep
and then
going.
the continued success comes is kind of what I'm getting from that.
Yeah. Definitely. And my sort of mantra, if you will, is just keep going. Like,
Mm.
don't stop.
I
Keep
love
going.
that.
Like,
Yeah, I love saying keep
if I
going.
can go back, I remember vividly, bro, when I was in my when I first started training, like hardcore training, posting on social media. I was a freshman in college.
Hmm.
And guys would make fun of me, like you're skipping leg day, like you're back in the gym, like you definitely on steel. Like steel is another word for gear. Like you're definitely taking all these things, bro. And I had doubt, man. I'm like, I just want to work out. Like, why am I being judged for just wanting to work out? And then
Yeah.
like the whole natural and not thing online, like it was a lot of sort of obstacles in the way. But I know if I kept going, I know if I did one more, I know if I gave it my all, I kept getting better and I kept learning more, like it had to happen. Like it had
Yeah.
to happen with my ambition combined with my faith. Like it has to happen. You just keep going.
Yeah, I mean,
Simple.
do you think that with also social media being as harsh as it is, like, you almost matured quicker, like your skin has thickened quicker because
Yes,
of like kind of, imagine you're just doing a normal job and you're not like, out there to basically be crucified by the masses, you know what I'm saying? Like, how has
definitely.
that developed you? And like, yeah, I guess how has the mindset progressed, to now be shooting for, qualifying for the natural Olympia, right? Like
Yeah.
from just, starting bodybuilding in your early 20s, right? Like
Yeah.
how have you grown in that aspect?
I would say so it's the mental growth, it's the physical growth, and it's the spiritual growth. And
Mhm.
I know right over the course of like the last 2 or 3 years is the most I've grown spiritually. So it just keeps me grounded, right? Even when things get rough, like not even to this day, not every day is a good day. Like sometimes you wake up in not the best mood, or you didn't have the best month, or you're looking at your sales and they're not what that you want them to be according to like the date or whatever. In the beginning, when I first started, um, like it's funny, man, because even my close friends would like pick on me and like, dang, you're always in the gym, right? Like, so it took a big toll on me mentally, especially going to social media like TikTok. I would
Mhm.
post like, you're not natural, you're a liar, like I'm blocking you, I'm unfollowing you. So like just so much hatred, it just felt like happened overnight. Like
Mm.
it got to a point where I was afraid to say that I'm natural online because I knew people would be so upset with me, right? And it took up until like 2023 to really just be grounded, like, dude, I'm natural. Like I really do this thing. Like this is
Yeah,
what
it's a
I have.
compliment basically, yeah.
It is a compliment. It took me
Mhm.
so long to understand that. I remember when I saw my first hate comment, and like some guy made a video about me, like this guy's not natural, like like kind of like what we're doing right now, like the split screens on TikTok.
Mhm.
And he was like going over my video. He's like, this guy's a fake natural. He's a liar. Like these are the people. This is what's wrong with the industry. So like just hating on me for no reason.
Mhm.
So it was definitely hard on me mentally. Like I would crash out every time I saw a post. I'm like, I gotta make a post. I gotta say something about it. But
Yeah.
now, like nothing can break me, man. Like I know what I've done. I know where I'm headed. Right. I know the people that depend on me. And I know how to carry myself now. So it's really just building tough skin and being confident in who you are. Like I am natural. Like I have nothing to hide. Like
Yeah.
TNF, I think I told you about this story, but I told him, you can drug test me anytime you want, man. You can
Mm.
blood test me or whatever you got to do. So he took me up on that. Like I told him that, and then like I want to say like a week or 2 weeks went by. He took me up on that. Like he was like, hey, all right, so let's do this test right now. I'm like, okay, let's run it. Like I don't have anything to hide, man.
Yeah.
So just having that undeniable proof and that confidence in myself, like, I mean, so what? Like I see
And
hate
that
comments
happened
to this
or
day.
it didn't
Yeah,
happen?
it happened. Yeah, it happened. He
Okay,
made a
yeah.
whole video, bro. I got so many views. He made a
Damn.
whole video about it. I made a video about it. Like, I can do this whenever, with
So
whoever.
just out of curiosity, where was the testosterone at? You know what I'm saying? Do you remember the number?
So I honestly don't remember. I wish I could like upload like screenshots. I'm
No,
pretty
no,
sure I
yeah.
have the screenshot in my
Yeah, yeah,
phone,
yeah.
and I don't remember. I know it
I
was in
wonder if
the
it's like close to the limit, like, what I'm saying, just because of like
nah.
genetics.
So it was on a range from under 200 was low
To
and
like a
above,
thousand, I believe.
yeah, like above 800. I want to say mine was like at 2 weeks out. I want to say mine was at like 400 something.
Okay, yeah,
I want
that
to say
sounds fair
like
enough.
between like 4 to like 475, somewhere in
Yeah,
between there. And he was just saying in his video, like, if this guy, like, he has no need to lie because he didn't know I was going to drug test him. He's competing in an untested show. So being completely off enhancements and allowing your body to regulate 2 weeks out is like detrimental. Like, no pro ever does that in the history
yeah,
of competing.
yeah.
So I feel like that also reduced the amount of hate I was getting because so many people saw it. But like right now, I just see a hate comment and I laugh. He's like, "Yeah, you're definitely not natural." I'm like, "Okay, bro." Like,
Yeah. It's funny. I feel like as time goes on, like the proof is just like compounding in your favor. You know what I'm saying?
definitely,
But yeah, let's focus more on bodybuilding right now. Like I'm kind of, you
of
know,
course.
curious, like obviously from the coaching perspective, what you learned in your own journey. You've
Yeah.
obviously developed, we've talked about this, before about like, your own almost like mindset on like, the diet, cardio, training, etc. Like
Hmm.
maybe just let's delve into that a bit, like, and the lessons you've learned, and so people can understand the way you think about these different topics. Like the
Yeah.
most interesting one that I like is when you talked about kind of your protocol for prep clients and cutting down. Like, do you want to delve into that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So give me an example. Give me an
So,
example. Yeah.
so the example that we've used before was like, let's just say we have I can give you a real example if you want, like, 200
Yeah, of
pound
course.
client. He
Let's
wants to
do
get
it.
down to maybe like 180. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
His maintenance calories is like 2,500. He's like 16 weeks out. You know what I'm saying? He's got
Cool.
like 20 pounds to lose. And what I
Hmm.
really like about your approach is you have like a system where you have like, like a base day, you have like high days and low days. So maybe you can run through
Yes.
kind of your mindset on that because I think that's really cool.
Yeah, exactly, man. So in the beginning, it was like I didn't understand the protocol, right? So
Hmm.
this was like, let's say that first guy is a guinea pig. Like
Hmm.
I knew what I knew, but I haven't done like any like outreach or research of my own to really understand what I'm doing. Um, but fast forward until now, like I have it under a system, especially peak week, which I'll talk about here in a second.
Hmm.
But yeah, so the guy is 2,500 calories, right? Let's say that's base. So
Yeah.
what we do, like, let's give it over a span of 7 days. So Sunday, let's say he has a refeed on Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he would drop back to base,
Hmm.
right? And then it'll be the base calories and the base like output, like how many calories he's burning.
Yeah.
And then from Thursday through Saturday, we would dip,
Hmm.
right? So we'd pull like, let's say like 250 to like 500 calories over the span of cardio
Hmm.
expenditure and your nutrition. So if he,
Hmm.
let's say he's eating 200 calories or 200 grams of carbs on like the base as his base, then we'll pull
Hmm.
like 50 to like 75 grams of carbs to
Hmm.
push him into that carb cycle. And my approach is a little different. So normally on like the higher output days, coaches would increase their food, but for me, when I'm increasing your movement, I'm decreasing your food. So it just dips into that deficit a bit more. So just a clear run through. Sunday would be a refeed. Monday through Wednesday would be base. Thursday through Saturday will be a carb cycle. So
Yeah.
over the span of 7 days, you're doing this. Like your food
Hmm.
is doing this and your output is doing this. So your weight
Yeah.
is meeting right in the middle and it's coming down like that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, I guess like what's your opinion on because the reason I like that approach is I feel like from a mental perspective, like
Yeah.
it's almost
Yeah,
like
that's
someone
something to look
has
forward to.
these short like they have the refeed day basically, and they
Hmm.
have like this short-term goal to achieve on the way to their show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And another approach is like some people don't give any refeeds basically during the whole prep, and they'll just have like
Mm-mm.
a training day and a rest day. You know what I'm saying? But
That's it.
for a prep setting, like why have you found like is it really the mental aspect, or like do you feel like the body like gets too beat down after a certain period of time, or like
Yeah.
what about that approach do you not particularly like?
Yeah. So the approach of like no refeeds, like no cheat meals or anything,
Hmm. Yeah.
it's I would say it's like physical benefits and mental benefits. So if it's a guy's first prep, right,
Hmm.
and he's like, man, I'm food motivated. I can only think about food. all right, so what can we do to make sure this guy continues his prep? What can we do to
Hmm.
get him in the best shape of his life while not starving him, make him feel like he's in prison? So that's when I implement like free meals, like the burger and fries or the sushi, or like like pasta or just a free meal in general. And that's where you critique the calories throughout the week to fit that in. So you can eat like quite literally whatever you want as long as you have a plan. So
Hmm.
you can have like a burger and like large fries from Five Guys every week if you adjust your calories the next 6 days. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with the approach of no refeeds, no cheat meals, like only training and rest day macros. When the guy is like new, but if they're
Yeah.
experienced, right, we can push a little bit harder, right? We can push for 2 weeks and they're not complaining about being hungry or being
Yeah.
tired. So it's benefits to both. Like I feel like it's a bit more controlled when you only have two plans to follow. But
Yeah.
like a guy or a girl competed for the first time, they would go absolutely insane. Like you mean
Yeah.
to tell me for the next 6 months I can't have no refeed or have any refeeds or cheat meals?
Wow.
Um, so
Aaliyah just
I
did that, and
yeah, I
she
know,
did
bro.
it wrong.
So
Yeah.
I respect that approach, especially from like a vetted coach. But my approach is a little different. And I mean, it works. Like I have hundreds of people I've worked with this year alone. We have 6 overalls and 4 pro cards to the team. So I mean, just stacking the undeniable proof
Mm.
and just being okay with not doing things the conventional
Yeah.
route, like
Yeah.
go the way that everyone goes and figure out what works best for you and your clients. So
Yeah.
some guys, like I said, I can give them 2 refeeds a week, or we can just increase their base calories. So instead of doing a carb cycle and a refeed day, just keep everything the same. So both get you to the goal, like both get you to the end line, but
Mm.
I feel like it's client to client. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
I think that's really interesting because I feel like something which isn't talked about a lot is the mental aspect. And that is so big because, as we know, if you're like
Huge.
craving food the entire time and you're like miserable during prep, your
Miserable. That's what
cortisol
it
is going
is.
to be high, your sleep's going to be worse, you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
storing more water and body fat, and like
Mm-hmm.
the sessions aren't going to be as good. Everything's going to be worse if you're like in this completely like depleted, kind of like just ravenous state. You know what I'm saying? So it
Definitely.
does take definitely a more stoic, probably more like advice. I mean, I guess
Mm-hmm.
some people can just have that mindset from day one. You know what I'm saying? But for the
Mm-hmm.
most people, for the most part, I think that's actually a really interesting point because what you're saying basically is like
Yeah.
both ways, it's just the calories. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like
Yeah.
they're both going to lose
Same
body
thing.
fat.
Yeah.
But one method with the refeeds is, for the mental side, better to
Yeah.
handle. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And like mentally and socially. Right.
Mm.
So if you do the rest day and the training day calories, like that's it. Like, how can you go and enjoy time with your family? You can, but you have to take your meal prep with you. Versus
Yeah.
someone who, okay, let's do a burger and fry tonight. Now they can have that social time. Now they
Yeah.
get the mental relief and the social relief, so they don't feel like they're in the box for 6 months.
Yeah.
So like to make it clear cut, yes, both methods work and they both are vetted. And it's the same thing as just the calorie manipulation. So keep them at base the entire week, or you push them a little bit more and then you reward them. Push them a little bit
Yeah.
more. Okay, I just have to make it one more day and I get that burger and fry. So I'm gonna go over the top today. Like I'm gonna do a little bit more cardio. I want to make sure I get some good sleep tonight. So
Mm.
it's like kind of having those small rewards to
Mm.
make them keep pushing, as opposed to damn, like every day is the same thing, bro. Like I don't get a
So
burger. I don't get.
So what if, because I was just listening to Patrick Tor, and like he's obviously like, I don't know if you're familiar with his kind of like mentality, but he's like military, like, like just super serious.
Hard
And
ball, bro.
his guys, like basically like Logan Franklin, or like, I heard like a podcast, they're not even having like sauces, you know what I'm saying? And
Which is crazy.
yeah, so like then having no refeeds, no even sauces, but like, obviously his argument is that like, to an extent with like, I mean, these guys have the best mindsets in the world. Like,
yes,
there
of
is no
course.
actual benefit to the refeed, as, it's not going to give your body, it's actually probably going to be worse for like maybe inflammation or like gut health compared to the clean foods. But what you're really drilling home here is, especially when you're working with natural guys and, it's probably close to their first time, like you need to take into account their mindset and their mental, because
Yes.
if they can't handle it and then they just binge, I mean, adherence is number one.
What's
So
the
if you have
point?
if you have a
Yeah.
sustainable plan, that's actually what's best. But it's not like you're saying that, like, if you had an Olympian athlete, like, he doesn't need refeeds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And I 100% agree with that mentality and that mindset.
Mm.
Like comparing Logan Franklin, right? A guy who's been competing all these years, like he knows what
Yeah.
it takes versus someone who's like, okay, I think I want to compete. Like
Mm.
those protocols are going to look completely different. Like I'm not going to expect them to go 6 months with no refeeds or no cheat meals and just drag them down to the dirt. Like 2
Yeah.
weeks in, they're going to quit. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So what can I do to make sure we get this person in shape, but also not burn them out with fatigue? And I know a lot of people watching this clip is going to say, oh, they got to get their mindset and they got to, like, just being hardball. But not everyone works like that. So what
Yeah.
I can do to be the best coach I can be is help these people that have this goal and are serious get to where they need to be. So
Yeah.
the Logan Franklin method, I'll just call it that for now. Like no refeeds, no sauces, like balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Like that works. But also like the burger and fry every night. Like these guys aren't eating burgers and fries every day, right? We work, we make progress, right? We beat our previous low and we're on track. And why not? And just burn it off the next few days. All right,
Yeah.
we're not making any progress. Okay, no free meal this week. Let's make some more progress. So
Mm.
both methods work, but it's 100% circumstantial depending on the client you're working with.
Yeah. I think like it's what's so cool about that is, as a coach, you're kind of thinking like very much in the other person's shoes, as opposed to like at your level right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, what you're doing again is like, it's not because you do something the client needs to do it. Like, you need to go from their level and work from their level, because I feel like that's something that I've struggled with to an extent where, I feel like I'm quite extreme in that regard. But like, again, but me being extreme doesn't mean that, especially if someone's coming to me for coaching, you know what I'm saying? Like, they are, and they've never been on a diet before, having a more extreme approach, like, I need to actually look, I really need to be like more,
It doesn't work every time.
yeah, what works for me isn't going to work for you, and you need to have something that's actually you can stick with, because that's at the end of the day the most important thing.
100%. And that's what it is. Like this whole bodybuilding thing and like lifestyle thing and just getting better in general is all circumstantial. Like me yelling at person A, like, hey, you need to do this. And I do the same thing to person B. Person B may not accept that well. So I feel like another job of being a good coach is being able to break each scenario down and give this person what they need. Tell them what they need, or tell them what they need to hear and not what they want to hear. So if he's asking me like, can I have a free meal? Like, all right, did we make progress? Right? Are you actually adhering to the plan? Are we getting our cardio done? Then we can think about it. But until then, I don't want to hear anything. We need to put work in.
Yeah,
so that's another part of being a good
it's that
coach.
line. Yeah, you need to play to their level. You need to be lenient, especially if they're like earlier on and their mindset isn't necessarily at a certain level.
And
but at the
just
same
explain.
time, like, if they're trying to just cheat out of everything, you need to like put your foot down and be like, look, you need to make progress by tracking a lot of the variables. And if you're just messing around, like, don't expect to
100%.
get results if you just want to mess about.
100%. Yeah, 100%, man. Definitely.
When it comes to the training side of things, so like, also actually one more thing actually on the diet, like, would you say like
of course.
you're a high carb guy, and like obviously try and like, you're not high fat, low carb, like you're more of like a high carb guy, moderate protein, kind of low fat is what I'm assuming, but like maybe you have a different mentality on it.
Yeah, so going back to circumstantial, right? Like I had like recently Mark and Ola, like they competed recently, like bone dry, right? Like shredded, full, and these guys were eating like more carbs than I was eating on my bodybuilding prep, right? So I just feel like it's circumstantial. Everyone like food, all food is the same, but not everyone is the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
no, of course.
I wouldn't say I'm only this way or only that way. It's not like a black and white answer. Okay, let's give you some food. Let's see how you react to that. Okay, let's give you some more fats. Okay, we have way too much protein. Let's pull that down and let's have those calories. Let's disperse them. Right? Let's give you some more carbs or some more fats for hormones and some more energy. So it's not like a black and white answer. But you should definitely give them what they need and keep track of everything. Their sleep's off. Right? Are they hungry or they're cold, they're dizzy? Give them some more fats. It sounds like a hormone issue. Right? If they're tired all the time, make sure the recovery is on point. If they feel fatigued, all right, lay off the cardio, give them some more food. So it's really depending on the situation. So I can't give you an answer to like everyone has to have high carbs or everyone has to do 500 calories of cardio. All right, what's their body composition? right? Can we afford to have 500 grams of carbs, 300 grams of carbs that we have to pull down? Are you 20% body fat? Are you
Yeah.
8% body fat?
Yeah.
So it's really circumstantial on the person.
Yeah, I think yeah, obviously I completely agree. It's completely circumstantial, but I'm saying like some coaches, like I've heard like Chad Nichols back in the day, who coached like Ronnie. He was like a super high protein guy, like 400, 500 grams a day, something crazy like that. So he's like super high protein. I know Milos is like super high protein. I know
Yep.
like Patrick Tor is more like he's lower, and Stefan Kinzel was like lower protein, or like the minimum amount, which I actually agree with. I think that like a super high amount of protein is just going to cause unnecessary like digestive stress,
Strains on your kidneys as well.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like in my opinion, I know like it's different for everyone, but like I'd summarize what I think from my experience so far and like research, etc., is like have a medium amount of protein, like not a crazy amount. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe like between 1.25 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, but then like try and get I prefer to prioritize carbs, you know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be the energy. And obviously the fats, that you don't really want them like lower than 40 or like 50 really, ideally.
Yeah,
that's kind of what
their body weight. Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like with regards to, because, the carbs is actually what's going to give them the energy to have the pump, and the workout is the most important thing to keep the muscle, right?
Definitely.
So that's kind of what I was meaning with that. And I'm sure like you probably agree with most of that.
Yeah, 100%. So to put it in perspective, I like talking from my experience. So when I was in bodybuilding prep, I started off at 205 pounds, and my protein was like 225 at bare minimum. So some days it could be 225 or it could be 230. And I mean, 300 grams of protein is good, but keep in mind, this is like calories. Like there's like so many studies. Like remember before they were like, you can only digest, or your body can only
like
process
40 grams per meal.
You know what I'm saying? And that was debunked, bro. That's a myth.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like as science gets better and as we understand more, things are going to change. So as of right now, a little bit over their body weight. So maybe like 1.2. And then, like, it never goes under their body weight. So if they are like 200 pounds, there's no way I'm dipping under that. Like, you need more. You always need protein. It's your skin, your teeth, your nails. Your body needs amino acids. But yeah, in terms of carbs, then it really just depends on like where they're at. So you want to compete in 8 weeks? All right, we got to work. We got to pull those carbs down, and we got to get that output up. If you're 6 months out, like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, it is really just circumstantial. But I agree that too much protein, especially if they have like an underlying disease that they don't know about, is just tearing your kidneys up. So you're eating a bunch of protein, taking creatine, taking enhancements, or if you're natural or not, and not drinking enough water, you're just skinning. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said, there's so many ins and outs, man. Like, that's why I love this, right? Because you're always learning. Like, you can never know everything. So I love it, man. I love it.
And then when it comes to your off season, like, would you say that your approach is like, some guys, for example, that have like in the off season or prep, they're exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? They're tracking the exact kind of meal plan. You know what I'm saying? Exact cardio, just different amounts. Or would you say like, you have a different approach, philosophy for, yourself and or your guys? Like, it might be different for yourself versus like what you kind of like have for most of your guys.
Yeah, definitely. So from a coaching perspective for my guys, let's break it down week by week, right? So let's say they competed on Saturday. Saturday they enjoy food, Sunday they enjoy food. So Monday through the following Sunday, we're on a plan, right? We increase your carbs and we decrease your output. So we're giving you enough food to train. But I don't need you going balls to the wall, 2 days after a show, because chances are you're already sore. So we just increase everything incrementally, and then 3-4 weeks after that, we're like full blown off season.
Yeah.
Right. So I kind of have the same approach in season as off season, is 1 to 2 free meals per week. Follow your meal plan, keep your body moving, and we just rock and roll from there. Keep in mind, like, I work with all natural athletes, and some of these guys compete for the first time. So expecting them to be as sharp as they are in prep is kind of
unrealistic for the most part.
It's kind of unrealistic. But me having the mindset that I have, it's 100% doable. But just me expecting the first time competitor that's been on prep for 6 months, it's not realistic. It's unrealistic.
Yeah. So they have a bit more flexibility in regards to maybe like you give them maybe macros or, like set meal plans, you know what I'm saying? Like ideally it sounds like you want like a meal plan, but like maybe just like
Yes.
macros or something around that to make sure they're
Mhm.
actually getting some kind of structure in.
Yes, best case scenario is stick on the meal plan. Worst case scenario is macros. But I give everyone a free meal a week, 1 to 2 free meals a week. Just don't get fat. Just
Yeah.
don't eat like an a-hole, and everything's gonna be all
100%.
right, man. You're
Yeah,
gonna be all right.
okay. And then when it comes to the training, I feel like that's
Yes.
probably an area where you've learned a ton over the years. Like maybe start off with like the biggest lessons you've learned over
Mm,
the journey, because training with you recently, if I was to summarize, not many exercises, you know what I'm saying, but
mhm.
like precision, great form, you
Quality
know,
over
um,
everything.
yeah, quality and yeah, high intensity, you know what I'm saying? So like it seems like, but I'm sure it wasn't like that from day one.
It was not like that from day one. So in the beginning, man, I would be in the gym for like 3 hours. I would deadlifts, I would do rack pulls in the same day, like just training balls to the wall. But like as each year progressed, I got a little bit better, right? I started sharpening my tools so I can give it to my clients, right?
Mm.
So we don't need 10 or 15 exercises in one training session. We don't need to do 5 sets or 6 sets on one. Like back in the day, bro, we used to do 10 sets of 10 on squats, like
Mm.
10 sets of
Yeah,
10
I've never
reps
done that,
on
but I know like that
squats,
was Tom Platt's way or something, yeah.
and then go into our actual workout with 8 more exercises. So we
Yeah.
just did it for the love of training. But like I said, science is evolving. We're always figuring out what works best. Right. Recently, like the breakthrough, if you will, of 2 sets is all you need. Like 6 or 8 reps is all you need. Back then, bro, we weren't hearing any of that. You're telling
Mm.
me I'm not doing 5 sets, then I'm not ready to go
More
home.
more equals better from
You know what
when
I'm
you
saying?
started. Yeah.
So right now it's all about precision. It's all about quality, and performing each rep like the last rep. Like keep
Mm.
that form strict, like I told you with the back training. Keep your
Mm.
arms tight to your body if you want to really hammer home those lats. Use utilize the wrist wraps and just give yourself the advantage, man. And just understand that training the old way isn't necessarily training the best way. Like
Yeah.
learn right what works for what do you. So look in the mirror. Do you need more shoulders? Do you need chest? Build your plan around that. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I think like actually reflecting on my journey, I'm super lucky because
Yeah.
I started bodybuilding at like 17, 18 properly, and I'd done rugby before. And luckily enough, this gym called King's Gym was nearby, and it had like one of the best bodybuilders in the whole entire UK called James Hollingshead there.
Let's
And I
go.
learned from people at that gym the UK kind of training, even like, so what, 5 years ago now,
Yeah.
they were very much low volume. They loved Dorian Yates, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then there was this guy, or he's still around, called Jordan Peters, and he had a site called Train by JP. And I like
Yeah.
bought this forum, you know what I'm saying? I went through the modules like when I was
Yeah.
super early on, because I was always curious from day one, like how do these guys do it?
Yeah.
And from day one, like I was basically put on like, it's not only 2 sets, but like basically high intensity, work up to like a top set. And,
Mhm.
mechanical tension is what drives
Work
muscle growth.
is king. King.
Yeah, and like I feel like I would have definitely naturally, again, from like a running background, etc. And for me being good at longer distance stuff, like I always thrived on endurance. So if
Yeah.
I hadn't had that guidance, I was still in the gym for 2.5 hours in lockdown. You know
A
what I'm saying?
long
But
time.
but I didn't do as much volume. Like I never did 10 sets of 10 on squats, and I feel like I would have been someone that did that if I
Mhm.
wasn't lucky enough to like find the information. It's funny because then you see like Rough Diesel's doing that site, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
all Flex Lewis, all the biggest bodybuilders in the world. Well, maybe Flex Lewis did like high volume, but like
Mhm.
Sean Clarida, I don't know, trains that way. Like all of these
Yep.
guys like are on a more like low volume split, and like that really
Yeah.
look how the physiques are changing, right?
It's crazy. Yeah. Definitely. And I feel like I saw Terrence Ruffin, Rough Diesel, he posted the other day his split in his torso and appendage. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
which
like
is
back in the day,
crazy.
people would be like, "What on earth is that?"
They were
But like,
not. I don't even know what a torso is what they
mm,
would say.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like it's cool to see other people's perspective, especially someone like him
Mm.
or his coach. I can't remember his name.
Hypertrophy coach, like Joe
Yes,
Bennett.
him,
Yeah.
him. Like just seeing their training philosophy, and I'm like,
Mm,
man, let me see if that works for me.
yeah.
So it's really just learning. What do you like? How do you enjoy training? And it's different styles, right? Are you trying to build muscle? Are you just trying to
Mm,
burn some fat? Or are you trying to get in shape? And it's really cool, man. It's really cool to get that. But like the torso is like everything connected to your torso. So like, I think it's like what chest, like some back, and then
yeah.
appendage is like your limbs. Like it's
Arms.
cool,
Yeah, I
bro.
think it's arms and
It's
legs basically.
yeah,
Like,
it's super cool, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I guess the idea then is, again, like, people used to have the bro splits and like you need to hit on Monday needs to be chest, and it's like now we just understand that you need to hit a certain amount of volume in the week and
Yep.
obviously a certain amount of sets, and like
Yep.
basically if you hit those sets on intensity, your muscle's gonna grow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
100%. And that's
um,
another thing, a message I tried to give to my guys is
mm,
they're like, I had a guy not too long ago say, hey, like, really, I need more volume. Like, I need more sets is what he said.
yeah,
And I said, okay,
he's
so
not training
send
hard
me,
enough. Yeah,
you're right.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
send me a form video, right? Like,
yeah.
so on that set of 8 reps, like how many reps do you feel like you can get at
Mm,
the 8th rep? He's like, maybe I could do like another 4 or 5. And I'm like, that tells
mm,
me everything I need to know.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
put
yeah,
more weight. Like, that's where like just having that proper guidance comes from.
yeah,
So on 2 sets, if you can do 4 or 5 reps, that set doesn't count,
yeah,
right? Like if you feel like you didn't empty the tank, then there's no point in doing that set. So warm up is good, but outside of that, you should be balls to the wall. You should put
yeah.
as much tension on that muscle as you can, because that's what drives that growth. That's what
Yeah.
ignites it.
Agreed. I mean, like, I'm super grateful for like being around that environment growing up, because I feel like that UK style of training, like
Mm-hmm.
everyone's doing it now. You know what I'm saying? And like, it really has
Awesome.
changed the game. The one thing though that, I noticed that, for example, you don't logbook, but like you train, extremely hard and the
Yeah.
form's in tight. And I feel like actually the biggest mistake with the guys in the UK is a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these bodybuilders, they only chasing the logbook, and I've done this before, and it's like you only want to progress like how much weight you're lifting on each exercise, even if
Mm-hmm.
the form, the range of motion isn't as good, even if like you don't feel it in the muscle as much, and you
Mm-hmm.
lose the quality of the reps. And like a
The
lot of
number
these
is all
guys
that matters. Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of these guys
Mm-hmm.
in the UK, unlike you, who like, has stayed in shape like for years now, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's something that like I had these dirty bulks in a way, because I would try and push up the scale weight because I thought, oh, well, obviously mass moves mass. Like if I'm heavier, then I can lift more weight in the gym. But then
Yeah.
it's like realizing that no, it's actually about the quality. And like, again, don't lose sight of
Yes.
basically what we're actually trying to do. We're trying to grow quality muscle, and don't
Yeah.
lose that by just trying to chase numbers in the logbook. And it sounds like you've never made that mistake, you know what I'm saying? Because you
Yeah.
kind of just like always just free flow trained, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I'd never personally had like a logbook or track these things. But my philosophy is if I'm in the gym, I'm training. Like
Mm,
I'm working out.
mm,
Like I'm not here for the distractions or the conversations. I'm here to train. And I leave every session soaked in. Like I'm crawling out on my arms,
mm, mm,
and
mm.
that's just how I've always been. I feel like when it's good to try new things, but I feel like I didn't want to add any pressure to myself. Like
Yeah,
seeing me do the same numbers week over week is good. It's a good tracking tool. But for me and my mentality, I'm like, okay, I'll just go in here and I'll just train.
yeah,
I'll just
yeah,
do what
yeah,
I need
yeah.
to do. I'll eat, I'll train, I'll sleep, and then come back stronger. But I would say after your show is always where I see the biggest increase
Mm,
for me. Like these past few weeks, I've seen like crazy growth in my legs. Like my legs have exploded. Like today on leg press, like I think I got 8 plates on each side,
mm.
like clean reps, bro. And I don't think I've ever done that. I don't
Yeah,
think I've
yeah, yeah.
ever done that. Like hamstrings are getting really strong, quads are getting really strong. Like it's just push yourself to the limit every time you're in the gym.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of
Moral
the
of the
day,
story.
like, as long as you're training basically close to failure, it doesn't matter if you're logbooking it or not. Like, the results are going to come. So,
Definitely.
for me, whatever works for each individual, like, I think for the beginner guys, I actually like to get them logbooking because of the
Yeah.
fact that, like, if they might as well like be a bit too regimented in a sense, like writing down the things
Yeah.
before, like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, otherwise they might
Definitely.
just be training not close to failure,
Kind of
or
go.
they're doing
Yeah.
different exercise every week and they don't have any like consistency. So I feel like, you almost need to be like more experienced to do what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? And then, so do you have a difference, for you when you're doing like a off season, bulking training versus, cutting, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And how has that developed over the years?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I would always treat like it's prep, and then after prep, I'm free. So like cardio stop, I'm not really training as hard. Like I'm eating whatever I want. My sleep's out of whack. But this year, especially between these last preps and now, like I'm training balls to the wall. Right, like I
Mm,
know exactly what I'm doing. And just structure, if you will,
mm,
to make it super simple, is just having structure. So in my mind, before it was only prep, and then everything else outside of prep is that's it. But from a bodybuilding standpoint, you're always in prep for the next thing. So prep
mm,
never ends. So you're in the 16-week prep for a show, you step on the show. Now the next 3 to 6 months are in preparation for your next prep for your show. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's never like one and done. The work never stops, if you will. It just what's next? What's the next goal? So right now I'm actively prepping for when I start prep in January.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm taking my training sessions seriously. I'm taking my recovery seriously. I'm sleeping with a nose strip and
Mm,
stuff over my eyes, bro. I'm taking everything is locked in right now.
yeah.
And just making sure I'm ready for when my name is called and I'm ready to step on stage again.
Do you believe in like, are you a big fan of drop sets, rest pauses, supersets,
Ooh,
or
yeah.
like, and also in prep, like, a lot of, again, the UK style is like that
Yeah.
you reduce volume. So the common like intuition for a lot of guys is they want to like do more in prep and work harder, but
hmm
actually that ends up losing more muscle. Do you agree with that? From and from what you've seen, like if anything, you probably reduce volume, or have you kind of figured something else out?
Yeah, so with me and my guys, I take it phase by phase, typically like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So for me and myself, I'm pushing balls to the wall, right up until like 4 weeks out, and then I lay off it a little bit, but I keep my foot on the gas. But
Mm,
think of it this way: like if you let up too early and
mm,
you're not really training it and driving that stimulus to retain muscle, you're
hmm.
just gonna lose it,
Yeah.
right? If you don't use it, you're gonna lose it.
Agreed.
It's as simple as that. So it's just understanding. Like I tell my guys, just understand how you feel in the gym. If you're feeling fatigued, if you're feeling heavy, it means your recovery is not on point. So get
Mm,
some good sleep at night. Make sure you eat your food. Take a rest day today if we need it, and then we adjust the plan from there. So it's all about communication. If they feel that they can't go, report that to me, and we'll make some adjustments.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
would you
the
say
closer
like
we
if some, sorry, go on.
no, I was going to say the closer we are to a show, that we ease off a little bit, but I would say we don't make serious adjustments until like inside of 4 weeks out when we come together and we discuss these things.
Yeah, and also obviously depending on how lean they are and if they can start feeding
100%.
into the show a bit.
hmm
I guess when someone's super fatigued, right? Like say they
hmm
are fatigued, are you someone that like will drop their volume in the gym a touch? You know what I'm
hmm
saying? So like maybe like take away an exercise or maybe like take a set away here and there to reduce the
hmm
volume because the recovery is say their sleep style and everything. Or are you someone that like kind of maybe you do like some kind of 1 or 2 rest days or kind of that approach, or do
Yeah.
neither of those? Do you have something else?
Yeah, definitely. So once again, I keep saying this a lot, but it is circumstantial. So it's
Mm,
not like a black and white answer. So let's say um a first time competitor, he's like new to this lifestyle. So
yeah.
he thinks he's fatigued. He's like, man,
Yeah,
I'm
okay, yeah.
tired. And like he's not used to it. He doesn't know what to expect. So for
Mm,
them, I would just explain the process to them. I'm like, hey, this is what we need to do. All right, make sure you get good sleep at night. You're gonna feel this way, but this is what we need to do to get
this
to
is
you where you
normal,
need to be.
just because
Right.
you
This
thought being
this
tired isn't
is the
necessarily
new
bad.
norm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
100%. And then 2 days go by. I'm like, hey, how you feeling? Like, I feel much better. Like my mindset is better around food.
Mm,
So it's really just you stepping in your role as authority, as a coach, and explaining why, how, and what you're going to do. And this is exactly how you're going to feel. So it's kind of like new to them, so they don't understand. But once they understand, they're like, I expect this to happen. So
yeah.
now, like, I'm ready to rock and roll. Versus a vetted person, and they're like, okay, that they know what fatigue is. Like I'm fatigued.
Mm,
I'm like, okay, let's pull back a little bit. Right, let's look at your body composition. Okay, we have 8 weeks left, and you look damn near ready. So let's adjust it right now, and we'll pull back off the gas a little bit. Which I'm
yeah.
going through right now with a guy who we're doing our second show together, and he's been
Mm,
a little fatigued because he works as well. So we just adjust the plan to make sure that we pull that fatigue down as much as possible.
yeah,
So it's
100%.
really circumstantial, bro.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, like,
hmm
fatigue, I feel like is a word that's thrown around so much these days. And like, again, I feel like for the most
Loosely,
part,
very loosely.
yeah, most people just aren't training hard enough. And most people like have no idea what, if you feel
Not
fatigued or
sleeping.
tired. No, but
Yeah.
also, yeah, you just need to push through. Like, that's just, that's what kind of getting lean and getting to a
hmm
point where your body's never been before is not comfortable by definition. So
Definitely.
like that's part of the journey, and then stepping off again, as you're saying, as a
hmm
coach, like if you let someone do that, then they're just not going to get the results they want, and you don't want that for
100%.
them, right?
And that's what I struggled with the most in my beginning days is I
Mm,
would never ever put, like I told you, like earlier in the podcast, I told you, like when they say they're tired, all right, let's take a rest day. You
yeah.
feel what I'm saying? Because I thought that made me a good coach. But now, like let's say a vetted competitor, they
Mm,
don't even complain about being fatigued because they know what they have to do. But they're like, hey man, I'm tired. I'm like, all right, let's just push one more day. Like we've been here before, bro. We already know what to do. And actually, the guy I'm working with right now, he was very food focused in the beginning.
mm,
He's like, man, I'm starving, bro. Like I need more food. But now
yeah.
it's like dead silent. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so how is it going, bro? I'm feeling good, bro. Like, let's keep
Mm.
pushing. So it's just being familiar with that feeling and understand what's coming next. So
Yeah.
like I agree. Oftentimes they aren't fatigued and they're just tired because they're not sleeping at night. They're staying up playing video games and they're not eating, versus like actually being fatigued. So I feel like a lot of people, especially new people, can't distinguish that feeling. But I mean, it really comes down to your recovery and if you're over your too much output and not enough food, but it's really just circumstantial.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, so that's kind of like, the training side of things. And then,
Hmm.
we delved a bit into the cardio, quickly into the supplementation, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, this is just
Yes,
the cherry on the cake to like the other two things and getting good
of
quality
course.
sleep. But are there any like, big things that you believe in? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, the vitamin D3, K2, or like,
Yeah,
multivitamins, what for you are like the main
yeah.
ones if you're using them and give them to
I
your
would say the
guys?
only supplement outside of like the stepping into the supplements, I would
Mm,
say creatine is I'm a big advocate for creatine. Like ever
of
since I
course.
took creatine the first time, I've taken
Hmm.
it almost every single day up until then or up
Yeah.
until now. So like the vitamins are cool, like the vitamin D, like the probiotics. I'm big on those. I'm not
Hmm.
necessarily into the digestive enzymes, although I'm starting to implement those into my daily routine, especially
Okay.
after a big meal and eating more food. But
Hmm.
the only thing I tell everyone to take are probiotics, right? Especially if their digestion is out of whack.
Hmm.
More water, because that's what we need, and just
Hmm.
creatine. I keep it super simple. We don't take like 12 or 15 different vitamins. We take what we need, and that's pretty much it.
So, any magnesium, any zinc in there?
Magnesium is good. For like at night, like magnesium glycinate, that
Yeah,
strain
yeah, yeah.
specifically is really good to help you relax and sleep at night.
Hmm.
Pretty much the same benefits as ashwagandha as well.
Yeah,
But I don't prescribe ashwagandha. I just tell them to take magnesium. Zinc is good. It helps
yeah.
like with your skin and wound healing. Um, those are really good. Like I said, the D's, the C's for immunity. Um, and that outside of that, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah. So you keep it pretty like, just the essentials basically, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I super simple.
Not trying to overcomplicate, have a whole entire pantry of supplements. Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, real quick on that. So EAAs though
Yeah.
as well? EAAs
I
or
don't
not?
I don't prescribe those necessarily, but if a client asks to take those, then
Yeah,
yeah, go for it.
yeah.
Especially during the summer when you're like sweating, like hydration. That's
Mm,
another thing I'm big into. I don't
mm,
necessarily prescribe these things, but clients ask about it. I'm like, yeah, let's throw it in.
yeah.
So not really BCAAs, only EAAs if I were to prescribe anything.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so one kind of area I wanted to talk about was like moving to Houston and like
Yeah,
actually like making the leap from South Carolina to Houston. Like, what actually ended up making you go there,
yeah.
and how's it been so far? Because it seems like that might be the place where you're looking to stay for at least a decent bit. You know what I'm saying? So obviously it must have been pretty good.
Yeah, it's been good, man. I moved here so I visited here for the first time in October of
Hmm.
2023, and I moved here in no October of 2022, and I moved here in 2023.
Mm,
So this April was the 2 year anniversary of me moving here, and October is 2 year anniversary of Addison and I dating. This coming October.
yeah, awesome.
So life's been absolutely beautiful, man. Like I moved out here with the goal, and I'm living in that goal. Like I need to be the best person I can be, and I got to grow my social media, I got to grow my business. So it was definitely scary. Like I lived in LA for about 4.5 5 months for very briefly,
Yeah,
but that was definitely not my home. So I went back home. I visited here on my way back home. I moved back home, and then I'm like, I got to get back to Houston. I love
yeah,
Houston.
yeah,
So I moved here. I knew a lot of guys here. And we hung out and just kind of kicked it and talked. And I'm like, all right, let's lock in. Let's take it to the next level. So, I mean, life's been good, man. It's been beautiful. Definitely feeling
yeah.
blessed. For sure.
And with the people that came here, I mean, it's interesting because Alphaland right now, me training there and you being there for a decent bit, like it's
Yeah,
obviously different to a few years back. Like,
way
what's it
different.
been like for how it's changed over the time you've been here? And like, it seems like almost everyone doing content and stuff has left, and,
Left.
and so is there a
Yeah.
reason like for you in particular, and like what do you
Hmm.
think was the reason why everyone else left as well?
Trends. Trends
Mm,
come and go.
yeah,
Things peak and fade. And that's just the reality of the situation. People on social media peak and they fade. Real businesses in the real world peak and they fade. And I feel like that's just how things are. People follow the trend, people follow what other people are doing. And when people aren't doing that thing anymore, they disperse, they leave. And it's that. And like, you don't need to be at a specific gym to grow anymore. So I feel like Alpha Land, Houston in general, is the hub people came to grow. And then once they grew, they expanded. So
Yeah.
I can be in South America right now. I could be in New York. It doesn't matter where I'm at. Does that make sense? So I feel like people just graduate from feeling like they needed to be here and just choose wherever they want to live.
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously social media, if you have a loyal community, you know what I'm saying, you have an online business especially, like you don't need to be in one place obviously to do that, you know, it's not like, you know, but I guess like how has Alpha Land or, you know, being in Houston affected your network, and like how has being in proximity to people that are doing and have done what you wanted to do like affected your progress?
That's
You know,
awesome.
because for example, like maybe similar to you in South Carolina, I was just in Santa Barbara and there's like no one doing bodybuilding. There's maybe like one or two
No
people,
one.
but no one like at like a serious level, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so being in Houston and having, you know, for me personally, met all these guys, like, you know, way further ahead in the journey, like that is very inspirational to me. And I feel like, I
Yeah.
don't know how to describe it, but like, you know, I feel like you rise to that. Does that make sense?
Definitely. So I would say being in close proximity to just seeing other people like do or have or be the things that I want to be. It's just
Mm.
like they did it, so why can't I? And
Yeah.
that's why I moved here, is just for opportunity. And just being at Alpha Land now or then versus now, I feel like it like nowhere near the amount of people I know go there now.
Yeah.
Right, like right now, as when I first moved here. So I mean, I met Addison at Alpha Land, right?
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, it's just it was a good thing to move out here because I met new people. Now I know you, I know Baker, her brother-in-law. Like it's just it things happen for a reason. Like I said
Mm.
earlier, like there's a reason I moved to Houston. There's a reason I went to Alpha Land. There's a reason for everything. And I feel like now I'm living in that reason because I'm the happiest I've ever been. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, completely agree. I mean, like, for example, I've told you, in Santa Barbara, I was actually in a fraternity at one point.
Yep.
And it's like that had nothing I was doing bodyboarding, but it was more like actually for a social aspect.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because, you know, I remember thinking like there's 25,000 people at this university, and like me being locked into my bodybuilding stuff and part-time job, etc. I'm going to meet no one if I just don't actually get myself out there. And it's like, I can easily like look at that and say, oh, you know, but like you can look at the negatives of that. But if I'd never done that, I probably never would have met Aaliyah, for example. Isn't that crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you would have never met Addison if you never went
That's
to
how it
Alpha Land.
happened.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like just because like, you know, something isn't where you stay forever doesn't mean it can't be like a super valuable part of the journey and getting to where you are right now.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a big part of just stepping out on like faith
Mm.
and just believing in yourself and believing that you have a purpose. Like there is a purpose, but it's on us to figure out what that purpose is. So what I thought that I should have done is be a civil engineer to make my family proud, to make
Mm.
them proud to say, yeah, like my son's an engineer, but just stepping out on faith and moving here and kind of going against the grain. Like I'm happy, like I'm fulfilled, like I'm doing what I love, and that's
Yeah.
ultimately what matters because this time that we have is borrowed. Like it's finite, right? Like we have an end date. So between now and that time, like what do you want to do that makes you happy? And I feel like that's a big thing that I always struggle with because before I was a like people pleaser. Like I got to do this because they'll like me. I got to buy this because I think that'll make me look cool. But now I'm like, bro, like I'm me. Like this is who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's super cool. I mean, I can't, you know, with that side, I think like my mum, she's a Korean, and her, so my grandparents, like they're very much like, you know, they actually called me the other day. I haven't spoken to them in a while, but they basically say like, oh, you know, if you're not a doctor, a lecturer, or like, you know, a lawyer, whatever, like, you know, you should do that. And I'm just
Sounds
like,
about right, bro. That's how
I'm
it
like,
is.
come on, like, you know, it's a new age, and I completely resonate. I think people have never called me agreeable. They've actually called me the opposite, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
way more on the stubborn side. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
like I agree with that way of living because at the end of the day, yes,
Yeah.
like, and it's like, first of all, it's not even like you've done what you've done and your parents aren't proud, for example. Like they are, you know what I'm
100%.
saying? Because,
100%.
and that wouldn't have happened if you didn't believe in yourself first. But like,
Exactly.
even if they weren't, it's like, again, you know, you get one life, and like, you know,
That's it.
obviously why not make the most out of it? Because you need to live with you, right?
Definitely. And it's a one-way ticket. That's how I think about it. Like it's a
Mm,
one-way ticket, man. And I want to wake up every day doing what I love. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that because they don't know what it is that they want to do. But
yeah,
that's why you got to sit yourself down. Like, hey, what do I want to do? What do I feel? What am I the most passionate about? Or what brings me the most fulfillment? And do that thing until that thing pays your bill.
yeah,
Very simple.
yeah. I mean, would you say like because for me actually, you say like finding your purpose and that kind of stuff. That's actually something that I struggled with a lot when I was in the UK and doing rugby because
Hmm.
you know long story short, in my journey, I wanted to become you say you want to become a civil engineer. I wanted to be a professional rugby player, and
Yeah.
like at like 16, I got dropped from this academy, and like I
Mm.
kind of felt like I don't know. Then COVID hit. I was trying to get back
Yep.
for a bit, but then COVID hit, and I was kind of like working out in lockdown. I just fell in love with that process, and then over that kind of experience, like it kind of opened up to me that like I love bodybuilding, but like for a long period of time in between that, I remember really thinking like, what am I meant to do? Because sometimes, like most people,
Yeah.
or if it's school or if it's like doing something you've done your whole entire life, there's
Hmm.
like a trodden path. Like if you become a rugby player, you get the contract, you go play games, you go
Yep.
like try and play for your country. It's like a very set route. You know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
same thing I'm sure with track, and same thing with wrestling, and same thing with American
Football.
football. Yeah,
Yep.
and it's like things like bodybuilding is like way less certain, and it's like to people out there basically struggling, you know what I mean? Like, would you
Yeah.
be able to give any advice, like if they're in that part where they're like, man, I don't really know what to do? Like, would you say like kind of lean into like what you're cool, like what you feel like you should do? Like for example, for bodybuilding, like I just had an interest in
Hmm.
the gym, and look where that's led me now. Like, would you kind of resonate with that, or would you just I don't know, say like try new things, or just like again,
Yeah.
like obviously the faith aspect?
Yeah, definitely. So you're asking me what my advice to would be to someone who doesn't know what they want to do and they
Yeah.
just need some like purpose or fulfillment?
Yeah, they're kind of struggling with, what exactly they want to do. Yeah, they're maybe lacking some purpose and kind of like direction.
Yeah, definitely. So I would say the biggest thing is just figuring out what you want. So when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you think about? Right?
Mm,
When you zone out, what are you thinking about? Is it like finance? Is it business? Is it taking a dream vacation? And what is it that brings you the most fulfillment? So just a quick backstory because I like speaking from my experience and talking about
hmm.
my faith because that's who I am. That's what made me into the person I am today. So back then I remember one night I just started praying. Like I don't know what to do, man. Like I want to chase this dream, but I just can't see the finish line, but just take it step by step. Right. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'll just start posting. And this time in college just gives me that time to really create what I want to create. So just take it one step at a time. The first step is posting. Right. And the second step is just doing it consistently. The third step is networking, like meeting new people
Mm,
and just showing your personality online. And before you know it, you're going to be to that goal because you took it step by step. So another mantra, if you will, outside of keep going is take it one day at a time. That's all it
yeah,
takes. Like you don't have
yeah,
to have everything figured out on day one.
yeah,
Just keep going, and just take it one day at a time. So I would say lean into what brings you the most fulfillment, and just run with that. Like whatever you are passionate about, like I said before, do that until that thing pays your bill. So if
yeah,
you're doing something that you enjoy, it doesn't matter if you're making $50,000 a year or 100,000 or $1 million a year, right? Because you're doing whatever it is that you want to do. So me personally, I would rather make $50,000 a year, being completely happy with whatever I have versus being miserable with $1 million a year.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah,
So just find what makes you happy. Figure out what your purpose is. Like do something, and if that something brings you joy, that's what you meant to do. And then
yeah,
stepping into the faith aspect, like I prayed about it, right? I worked and I prayed like God, please just lead, guide, and protect my steps and allow me to become the man that I want to be. So just repeat that prayer for me. Like just speaking from my experience, I repeat that prayer to myself and just keep going, man. Like you don't have to figure it out in day one or day 30. It takes years. It took years for me to get to where I am today.
yeah.
But ultimately that's what kept me grounded. So my faith and just understanding that I just got to take it one day at a time.
Yeah, and I think something powerful about that, which like, I think we both can agree on is like, if you have this calling inside you, like, for me again, I always thought physiques were cool from day one, even before I
Yeah.
knew what bodybuilding was, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Definitely.
And it's like, even if everyone around you is not doing it, like if you feel like, you want to do it, then you have to kind of block out the noise around you and what everyone else is
Yes.
doing and just kind of
Yes.
trust trust the instinct. And then the other point that I was kind of thinking when you said that is like, even if you're making your 50K a year versus $1 million a year, but you're doing something you love, I think it's cool to think of things. I had this question with Aaliyah. It's like, what would you do if you had 30 mil in the bank? What would your day look like? And the reason that question is powerful is because if you had that much money, there's like studies that basically show like there's not too much, they say like more money, more happiness, I'm saying, to an extent, but there's a certain amount of money where it's like, you can't really have more money. It's not going to give you any more happiness,
Yeah.
So like, if you would still, for example, for me and her, we would both do the gym if we had that much money in the bank.
Of course.
And I bet you would too. So then it's like, how valuable is that? And that's an interesting frame of mind, which shows like how important certain things are in your life. Because if, for example, I had that money in the bank and I was like, you know what, I'm never going to work out again. I'm never even touching a dumbbell. I'm never eating clean again. Then why am I spending my whole life doing that if it's that low?
100%.
If it doesn't mean anything to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. That's awesome. And that's like a new perspective that I personally never thought about. So I appreciate you for that. And that's just that makes sense. Like if everything else is figured out, like what would you do? And that's what you should be doing. Like if the cameras, like I said, if the cameras were off and there's no TikTok, Instagram, bro, I would still be in the gym every single day. Like I'd be doing, because this is what I love to do. And going back to that analogy, like 50K versus $1 million, like because you love what you're doing at 50K a year, you can grow that to $1 million, right? So it's just figuring out what you want to do and doing it like you love it. And then you can that's when you can spend 12 hours working at a time, because that's what you're passionate about. So like for another like a analogy, if you will, or metaphor, is when someone tells you to read a book, are you going to read that book? Versus if you're going to read a book that you want to read. So if you tell me to read like a fiction book, I don't want to read that. But if you tell me to read a personal development book, I'm going to read that because that's what I want to do. So it's just figuring out what you want to do and just doing it like you love it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, actually, I'm reading this. I read this book called The Almanac of Navar Ravikant, and he talks about like how obviously important reading is, and I obviously completely agree. But he talks about like to get someone to become a reader. Again, you don't tell them to read certain books. You need to like get them to like, okay, what are you actually interested in? Read what you want to read, and then 100%. After you read what you want to read, you're going to fall in love with reading. And then when you fall in love with reading, then you can actually read other books. But like, it's like in school, like I would never read anything when they're telling me to read like 1984 and like, I don't know, Animal Farm. Like I'll be like, oh, this is a chore. But now I'd actually like, no, but it's like, now if I'm actually in the habit of reading, but it's because it's a funny story. I started reading Harry Potter when I was like 18 again. I reread it and I was like, oh, I actually, I love this. You know what I'm saying? And then I just got into the habit again.
Definitely.
But yeah, okay. And then one more kind of aspect, I wanted to touch on,
of course,
is, when it comes to, all these different people you've met, like in Houston now, and you've been around, people that, are close to what you wanted to do, and now you've done a lot of it, you know what I'm saying? What out of meeting all these people are traits that you really respect and admire in people? And what are traits that like, you've learned like, nah, I don't resonate with these traits, that doesn't align with my values kind of thing?
That's a good one. So I would say on the positive traits, I would say, well, that's a good question. Let me think. Because we had a lot of interaction. So I would say the willingness to hear someone out, right? So for example, like this one time, like I was training, like when you're training, you just want to be like in the zone. And then the guy came up to me. He was like, hey man, like, I just want to chat up for a second. Like in my mind, I'm like, dang, bro, like I got to pause my workout. Like I don't want to be, I don't want to be rude. And then the first thing that came out of his mouth is, I see that cross on your neck, man. I'm a big believer in Jesus Christ myself. And I'm like, so if I didn't even give this guy, we had a very insightful conversation, by the way. If I didn't give this guy the time of day, then that conversation wouldn't have impacted my life. Like I couldn't get like any value from that if I just shut him off completely. So trait number one that I like is, for the interactions I have, is just the willingness to hear someone out and just kind of being humble and just talking to people, because I'm no better than you. We're no better than XYZ. We're all the same. Right. And it's just having that willingness or that humble spirit. So I would say being humble. And a negative one is kind of like being superficial, like only talking to someone because they have a social media following, or, only like inviting someone out because they have X amount of dollars or they have the fastest car. So I say like a lot of people, not necessarily in Houston, but just in LA, are superficial. Like you don't have 1 million followers. Like, what are you doing here? right? So the biggest two is just having a humble spirit,
Mm.
humbleness, and
Yeah.
two, like being superficial, like full of themselves, or um what's the word I'm thinking of, like egotistical,
Yeah.
right? Like being cocky. It's the difference between being confident and cocky, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. I think
Hmm.
the first one, I think that's powerful because I was actually reading this book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and I think the best habit, you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying, he says, seek to understand before you seek to be understood, or something like that, right?
Yeah,
And that's kind of
that
what you
sounds
say in
right.
the
Yeah.
first one. And he gives like all these examples. I think he gave this example on like the train. He's like on the train, and there's this guy with his kids, and like the kids are
Yeah.
like being absolute menaces, and everyone's like looking at him thinking, why are these kids being so loud? And he goes
Hmm.
over to the guy and he's like, angry. He's like, get your kids in order. And the guy
Yeah.
basically says like, oh yeah, my kids, yeah, my wife just died, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, once you hear that, it's like, if you understood the situation first, then
You would
you wouldn't give that reaction, you know what I'm saying? I feel
100%.
like that's something that, yeah, again, like, it's like it's a habit of like wanting to like speak or like be heard,
Yeah.
but like if you're trying to actually speak with someone, you're not just trying to like speak to yourself in a way, like, or just trying to force your will. Like, if you can actually
Yeah.
understand where they're coming from, that's going to be a productive conversation because, for
Yeah.
example, in sales, most of sales is listening. It's not actually speaking
Yeah.
because you need to understand what the person wants, and then you can show them how you can
To
solve their
serve them.
problems. But if you just start saying, these are my features, 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 you're
They
never
don't
going to sell.
care.
Yeah, they don't care because what if it's not relevant to them? So
Hmm.
I definitely agree with that. And the second thing is like, I get this sometimes from doing social media. I was wondering what you think of this with regards to being
Hmm.
superficial, because, for example, like, I feel like you would get this, for doing social media longer than me, I believe, for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, how long? I've been doing it for like 5 years, you know what I'm saying? So
I've been
it's
doing it. Well, I've been posting fitness content since like 2018.
okay. Yeah.
So
So
let's just
like
let's just
seven,
stamp it at
seven.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like during that time period, and like again, you telling me that you'd be working out and I would, even if we had 30 million in the bank.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people will look at someone like maybe me or you and posting on social media, etc. And like they might get the impression, oh, like he's posting content, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wouldn't be in the gym if he wasn't posting content. Like he doesn't love bodybuilding, because
Hmm.
he just cares about like, likes or followers. And it's
Yeah.
like, I feel like there's a big difference between, like, as you're saying, if you had that money in the bank and you wouldn't lift, that is true. Then it means I'm just
Yeah.
doing it for the social media. But the difference
100%.
is like, if someone loves something, they're also going to obviously try and make the most out of doing it, right? Like they're
Of
going to try and
course.
share their value if they can help clients, and they're going to document their progress. Like, do you
Definitely.
resonate with that? And have you had like almost like, been scared to post, or like just had that criticism from people that almost, they don't think, they're like, oh, he's young. Maybe like older guys are like, he's young and he
Hmm.
doesn't even like, he's not even serious. Like, have you ever got that?
Yeah. So when I feel like people have like, they say like, if you're recording in the gym, then you're not taking your training seriously.
Mm,
So in terms of like the realm of what you're talking about, I personally haven't had like someone say, "Oh, you're not serious about it," or blah blah blah.
mm.
Because I feel like I have a pretty good build, and I've had a decent build
Yeah,
since
yeah. The
day
results
one.
speak for themselves.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
so I personally haven't dealt with that firsthand, but I mean, I could understand why. Like the biggest thing I've had is people considering this not a real job. They're
mm.
like, I remember I told someone, like they were like, "What do you do? Like, where do you work?" I'm like, I like do like online like social media stuff. And they're like get a real job. Like that's
What, as in
embarrassing.
someone in
Like
real life said that to you, or they just
yeah,
commented
they
that
were
on
like
social? No, in real
they
life.
said
Okay.
that to me. They were like, "Oh, that's embarrassing." Like
Yeah,
this was a long time ago though.
yeah,
But I mean that's just how it is. People just don't understand. People only understand things from their perspective,
mm,
and people don't understand what we're doing because they haven't taken the time to learn about it. So no,
yeah,
I've haven't had like any firsthand interactions with people saying like you're not serious.
yeah. I guess
Mhm.
the world is changing as well, and it is becoming more and more of a norm. So like, the further back you
Yeah,
go, like, I mean, the more people now,
it was
like,
worse.
it's more common than ever. But
Hmm.
I guess one more thing on that would be, what have you learned? Because this is something that I had a complete misconception about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the difference between, like, yeah, people might not see online coaching as a real business, but that is a
Hmm.
real business. What's
It's very real.
what's way harder than that, which a lot of people don't understand, is that sponsorships, are not like, for the most part, like, going to give you anywhere as much as like the potential for online coaching. So maybe
Yes.
talk me through like what you've learned about like sponsorships as you've developed, through
Yeah.
your bodybuilding journey, and like, maybe share some nuggets of wisdom with the people on that.
Yeah, definitely. So I would think about it as like an equivalent, right? So 3 sponsorships can pay you the equivalent of what you're making in like coaching, right?
Mm.
So and with sponsorships, it's deliverables. So you have to manage like deliverables for this company, this company, this company,
So that's
and
like posting
then
stories, like, you know,
all
reels,
of
or
it,
like wearing their clothes and
100%.
promoting their products. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're like all consistently like posting for them, pouring all this energy into their company, and you're getting a percentage of the sales that you're making versus like providing real world value, helping
Mm.
actual people, bro, there's millions of people online, right? There's millions of people that want to get in shape or step on stage. So that cap, especially, you know, like being like, we're vetted, right? You've been on social media for a while and training for a while. I've been doing the same. You've been coaching for a while. So we're vetted. So people, like the cap on that is way higher than pouring yourself into these companies, because these companies can leave you like that. Like they
Mm.
can wake up one morning and say, hey, you know what, we're changing. What's the thing
We're
that they're
moving.
saying?
We're moving in a different
An
direction.
opposite direction,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like
Just yeah,
bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself. Like
yeah.
you have a direct tie to how much money you're making. Your effort,
Mm.
that your salary is the reflection of your effort you're putting into something. So
Mm.
the more effort you put, the more time you're devoting to this one thing, the more money you'll make. The bigger the problem you solve, the more money you'll make. That's just how it is.
Yeah. I think maybe like a misconception that I didn't realize is, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, it's like the difference between an online business, having your own business, versus like working for a company is like you're promoting your own. Well, first of all, if you're doing both at the same time, I mean, it's possible, but like you
Mm-hmm.
just need to be conscious of like how much are you
It's a
giving
strain.
away versus how much asks, because you have to ask more from your audience, and you don't want
It's
to
a
be that
strain,
guy
yeah.
who's like always asking, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Every
So like
post.
that's one thing that you need to like manage. But yeah, it's also just like thinking about like literally thinking about the return. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because if you're
definitely.
selling something and putting equal effort into like promoting a product, you
Mm-hmm.
promote something that's not yours, and you get like what 10% of like the
10%.
product, which
And
could
on
maybe
top of us,
yeah, maybe like a
yeah.
couple dollars, couple like maybe $50 max. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
versus like selling and getting 100% to yourself. Like there's obviously a difference in the money there, and like maintaining your brand, you know?
Yeah,
But then obviously you can be
100%.
with companies that like boost up your brand, and I don't know, I guess like, you know,
Yeah.
you've experienced all of that.
Yeah, definitely. So the funny enough, I just had a call with Matt. I told you about Matt before, and
Mm.
we were kind of just taking a deep dive into like social media, coaching, and just the trajectory of where we're headed, like him and me, and what's next, right? And he was just saying, breaking it down, is like the sponsorships are cool, but unless you have like hundreds of thousands of, I'm talking like 500,000 on each platform or better, and
Mm.
you're not making like serious like partnership money and brand deals, then your best bet is going all in on what's working. And what's
Mm.
working is coaching, right? And like the cap to the amount of people you can help is what you place on yourself. So not only so many people is gonna buy supplements, right? Like there's a few people that's gonna buy pre-workout. There's a few people that's gonna buy like gym clothes, but the amount of people you can help like coaching is far greater. So do what works, stick to what works, focus on what works. So
Yeah.
you're not gonna just cut yourself. You're not just gonna stop coaching, right, as fast as these companies can cut you from their roster.
Yeah, 100%. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that's an interesting part, because like again, it's like once you go into a certain arena and you don't know the rules, and once you figure it out, the main thing there is, I was actually reading
Mm-hmm.
George St. Pierre's autobiography this morning. He's like this MMA
Yeah.
fighter. Have you heard of him, or not
No, I
really?
have not. I have not.
But he's talking as interesting. He's like, he talks about he likes dinosaurs, and he compares them to cockroaches though, right? And he's saying like
Yeah.
the again, this could be in bodybuilding, literally like some of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest, you know, like the best physiques, etc. Like it's not about like being the biggest and the strongest. It's about like being the most adaptable, because the cockroach
Ooh,
survived. You know what I'm
awesome.
saying? Like, you know, the whole, I don't know, the world
Far
got wiped
longer.
out. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like he's highlighting there that it's about, you know, even the small cockroach, if he's just more adaptable and he figures out
Mm-hmm.
the terrain and then he like maneuvers it, he's able to like endure.
That's
That's
awesome.
what's most important, because I feel like, you know, that's another thing about like, you know, being in this space again, because
Mm-hmm.
the world's ever changing. AI is coming about, you know,
Yeah.
Instagram's algorithm changes every other week. You know what I'm saying?
Every day.
TikTok's popping off, but then TikTok's not popping off. And then YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
all these things, you know what I'm saying? It's like you need to constantly be learning. The audience changes. There's like
Yep.
audience fatigue. You know, there's certain kinds of content aren't getting pushed out anymore. And it's like, I feel like something that I've like, you know, it's been a steep
Yep.
learning curve for me. It's constantly pivoting, because in the gym, you're doing the same thing again and again and you just get better, you know?
Yeah.
But with social media, it's like the opposite. You know, you need
Evolve.
to market
Yeah.
different ways. You need to. So, like, how have you managed that like difference between the bodybuilding and then adapting to everything in business and coaching, and how that changes every second on social media?
Yeah, it was like a big learning curve, and I struggled with it a lot. Like even like 12 months ago, like a year ago, I still struggle with it. But it took me reaching out to ask like the best people and to just get more insight into what I should be doing to get to this goal. Like I
Mm.
said before, like if you want something that someone else has, you should be doing what they do. You should be seeking out to them for advice. So I would say it has changed a lot. So it's not only workouts, it's not only like talking head videos, but it's you building your brand. People should know you for you and then accept the things that you offer. Does that make sense? So if
Mm.
it's only like call to actions and it's not like any lifestyle or you providing any value, like give me your money. How much money can you give me? Like it's going to be hard, but people buy from people that they trust, right?
Yeah.
People believe you because of the proof that you have. So it's, I would say, going from only doing workouts or only one type of content to building your brand and people knowing you as Jermaine or Gone and not knowing you as the guy with the crazy physique. Like I can't remember your name, but I know you have a crazy physique. That's like
Yeah.
worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Right. But if they know you, like know what you're doing, like, oh, you're in a cut right now, or you have a show coming up, or you just competed, like that is how you succeed. That's how you evolve with the times when
Yeah.
people know you. They know your lifestyle. They know everything you have going on.
Yeah. I guess one of the final questions, but like on that topic, is like what kind of content, because they say like, you need to
Yeah.
get people to know, like, and trust you. What
Yeah.
kind of, would you say it's been, again, the obviously it's a combination of all of it, but
Mm-hmm.
which content has moved the needle the most? Is it obviously the
Ooh.
results, obviously what some of the biggest ones, but then
Mm-hmm.
you have like your lifestyle content, you know what I'm saying? Or like,
Yeah.
like I guess, what content has, or like sharing updates on your own journey, like which
Yeah.
ones do you feel like move the needle the most?
So in terms of like getting more clients
Yeah, and yeah,
or
kind of developing that know,
Mhm.
like, and trust factor, just even if they don't become clients, but getting kind of like,
Yeah.
because again, we talk about the difference between like having tons of people that are like super like just top of funnel, and then like
Yeah,
meeting people who are like really engaged with you as a person, right?
definitely. I would say the biggest thing that like have people like me as a person is one, the talking head videos showing them that I know what I'm talking about. Like I do
Mm-hmm.
this for my guys all the time. And
Yeah.
two is going through it myself. So not only am I taking y'all like or teaching y'all or telling y'all, like y'all are right with me. We're going in this fire together. So I've done like multiple preps. I've helped multiple guys step on stage. Like that's just what it is. So I feel like people really bond with you when they feel like that sort of connection with you, like, dang, he did it, I can do it too. He did it, so I'm going to work with him and he's going to get me to my goal because I know that he's done it for himself. So the to answer your question, the thing that moved the needle the most was like authenticity and being the authority, and two, um like the just showing them my journey, just being myself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I love that, because I feel like obviously you got to document your physique, and that's always been part of the case. But like,
100%, you got to
yeah,
look the
probably,
part, bro.
yeah, obviously walking the walk. But
Yeah.
yeah, doing the talking heads and then showing the testimonials, and like results, like,
Yep.
that all just shows that, I think that's like, that for me has been one of the biggest things that I've been trying to do more recently. Like try and
Hmm.
talk more to the camera, try and actually share how I'm thinking, and yeah, just putting like how, and this podcast, for example, is like going deep. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
showing really who I am as a person, and I feel like, yeah, like, I resonate with,
definitely.
the kind of stuff that you're putting out. I guess last
Thank
question,
you, brother.
right? Because I feel
Yeah,
like this has been massive for me, and I know it's been big for you, but I kind of want to hear how, or like in
of
your own
course.
words.
Hmm.
Obviously, being with a great partner who's doing similar things with regards to like, you know, coaching. You know what I'm saying? Like for example,
Yeah.
Addison, you're coaching together. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And obviously working with Baker. But
Hmm.
in my example, like, Aaliyah, she's doing coaching, I'm doing coaching, doing the
Hmm.
bodybuilding together, obviously getting to eat the meals together, like living
Yeah.
the lifestyle together, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's quite a
Yeah. It's
unique
awesome.
experience, but like talk to me about how important that's been for you, and like your, progress, and like,
Ooh.
I don't know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, just kind of share a bit on that topic.
Yes. So we've actually made videos about this previously, but I cannot hammer it home enough how important it is to have a partner that is at least understanding of what you're doing. Like
Mm,
if they don't understand what you're doing, they how can I support you if I don't understand? So I feel like it's very important to have some sort of common ground. It's okay to do your own thing. Like
mm,
if Addison wants to read and I want to go like play basketball or something, for example, that's okay. But that common ground is very important. Like that can be in faith, that can be in business, that can be in finances, and just making sure that everything aligns so that you can work together, because that's what we are. That's what you
mm,
and Aaliyah are. You guys are a team, right? So
mm.
what can I do for Addison, or what can she do for me to make sure that we're better together? Because this is all about unity and making sure we work together in harmony. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
100%.
So
Yeah.
just being with someone that's supportive and understanding makes your journey that much more rewarding, and you just have more support. So now I'm like, okay, I got to keep going because I can't let Addison down. So it's
Yeah.
like an accountability partner. That's really all it is. And
Mm,
so when I win, she wins. Whenever she wins, I win. So
yeah.
it's just being on the same page, bro. I cannot express how important that is. It's very, very important. Not saying it necessarily can't be done, but it like it just makes it so easy. It makes it seem like it's like second nature, if you will. Like
Yeah.
it's too easy.
I feel like, doing the same, you know what I'm saying? Because I know it's similar between me and Leah and you and Addison in regards to like going to the gym at
Yes.
like the same times, or like, because
Hmm.
this lifestyle, especially doing it at the
Yeah.
level, you know what I'm saying, of like how serious, we take it is like,
Yeah.
I mean, having someone to do that with is like powerful, you know what I'm saying? And
Very.
yeah, it's
Very.
like how much better, it's like, again, the situation where 1 + 1 equals like 5 instead of 2.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because if you're trying to do
Yeah.
this alone, you know what I'm saying? Like, as well, it's just like, you know, the longevity, the adherence aspect we're talking about.
Yeah.
Even again, like my dad has always been big on this, basically saying like, you want to have experiences and experience with other people. What's the point in like
Yeah.
experiencing everything on your own? You know what I'm
By
saying? So like,
yourself, right? Yeah.
yeah. And then obviously if the
100%.
same values and everything, like it only just like reinforces you competitive, you know what I'm saying? Like you just both getting better together. So I love that.
That's all it is, man. And like I said, I feel like neither of us are married yet, but I feel like that's what keep relationships together is
Mm,
just understanding, right? Like having conversations, being supportive of each other, like having the same interests. Like if I'm doing my thing all day, she's doing her thing, like what are we going to talk about? Like there
mm.
we have no common ground. We have nothing. So yeah, like having a partner that you're open, honest with, trust, and you guys share the same values and have the same goals. Like there's nothing in this world that could ever top that. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole point of life. It's to meet someone, it's populate the earth and just live out whatever your divine calling is, bro. That's what I truly believe is life.
I obviously 100% agree. I mean, the last thing that I'm just thinking in my mind is like, there's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of people out there that are like, you know, you guys prep together, you know what I'm saying? Well, you actually coached her. And it's like,
Yeah.
that is like that even in itself, like I heard before, I actually, when I first met Leah, it was like a couple
Hmm.
months after that I did my first show. And I
Hmm.
warned her because she didn't know much about bodybuilding, but I was like, I've heard like, I don't know
It's
what I'm going to
brutal.
be like, but like, trust me, like I almost set expectations like, and actually, I think I was better than I almost set the expectations worse than it was.
Yeah,
But
you
you know what I'm saying?
should.
'Cause I didn't
Yeah.
know how I'd be. I just kind of went quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like
Hmm.
as I got deeper into prep, but like talk about that experience because most people they'll be like, first of all, if you can do a
Hmm.
prep with your partner, that's like a huge thing because that almost
Yeah.
shows like it shows like you in like such a vulnerable state and like almost like I don't know about you, but I never really got angry or something. But apparently, a lot of
Hmm.
people get like irritable or something, especially at the end of prep. So that
Yeah.
can like be rocky for relationships, and also
Hmm.
obviously like the nature of it being like so selfish in a sense. Like I
Hmm.
just want to, I'm wondering like anyone listening out there who like
Yeah.
you know has a partner or maybe like wants advice for the future and handling that with a partner. Like what would your advice be, and how have you managed to do well in that? You know what I'm saying? Because you guys
Yeah.
did
So
great.
crazy story is we met and worked out together, and I started prep. I started prep in June and we met in May. So I
So
started
one
my
one month
first
before.
prep. Yeah, so I started
Mm.
my first prep in Houston when we were like officially like started today and hang out and all of that. So I knew, bro, she stuck with me through that. So I knew this was my person. Like
Mm.
she just met, like we literally just met, and I'm already like 8 weeks out from my show.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I'm not perfect. Like she got snappy, I get snappy. I'm sure you got snappy, Leah got snappy, and that's just the reality. Like none of us are perfect, but to a certain extent, like you got to pull that back. You got to understand that you're hungry, and they didn't sign up for this. You signed up for this, so taking your anger out on them is not right. Like they didn't force you to do prep, so why am I complaining, or why am I like just staying on top of her and nipping at her if nothing's even wrong? Like there's no problem.
Yeah.
So I what for us it's a little different. I can't speak for all relationships, but we've been through everything together, every emotion, every tough conversation. Like this, it just built an undeniable bond. Like it's unbreakable bond. Like nothing could keep me away from Addison right now. So it's just like having that proof of we know who we are and where we're headed. Like this is just another challenge we can overcome together. So that's the mindset we had. Like it's unbreakable, dude. Like we're in this thing together.
I think the most powerful thing from that is basically if you can go through a prep together, you know what I'm saying? Yes, you know what I'm saying? Basically, it's going to show I feel like it shows who you really are, and also shows the other person, because it's like, well, that's another thing. It's like you were both prepping at the same time in the recent one, but like, for example, with my prep, it's like, it wasn't 50-50 anymore. It was like she was pouring in more to me than I was pouring into her. 100%. And it's like that also shows a lot about, the other person that you're with, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
And the other part of that is like, if you can make it through that, it's like, but that it's like the ultimate almost bonding experience. I mean, it's almost like risk and reward, because there's a high chance, for a lot of people from what I've heard, I mean, that
just don't make it.
Yeah, a lot of preps, they don't make it. But if you do make it, it's like that bond, you know what I'm saying? And that like,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that is like huge, you know what I'm saying? But so like you actually prepping together, was that like mad different to you, one of you just doing it, or like was that actually, did you like that because maybe you're waking up at the same time and it's even more aligned?
Exactly what you just said. We held each other accountable. So like when she didn't want to do cardio, I'm like, okay, baby, we got to rock and roll. You want to win or not? Right? Like we joke all the time. Like, do you want to win or do you want to get dead last? And ultimately it was plenty of times she would rip my head off, like me being her coach outside of her boyfriend. But that's just the reality of the situation. I'm like, baby, either you give it all you got or you're going to regret it on stage that you didn't push yourself to the limit. So you might as well take this time to dig deep and make it happen than regret later and just waste 3 months of prep. So the crazy thing is show day itself was tougher than the entirety of prep together, because I can just look at her, okay, this is the protocol for this week, or let's give you a refeed, or let's do some cardio. But on show day, I think we briefly spoke about this. I would never ever coach her, and if we're doing the same show, so
because of the stress and like needing to basically juggle everything at the same time.
So leading up to the refeed, it was perfectly fine. Like she was filling out, she looked like full, she was shredded, she was lean, she was in shape. I was the same way. And then where it got really complicated is because when she's supposed to be like carving up and eating like the final top off meal and pumping up, I'm on stage, so I can't even give her the protocol, right? So as soon as I stepped off stage and I got second, I was in second. I knew I was in second, so I'm like beating myself up. I'm like, man, like I brought my best physique. I don't know what I should do, but in that same breath, right before I even exhaled, I had to switch back to coach mode.
Yeah, it's not even about you. Yeah.
She's like, I'm hungry. Like, what should I do? Like, should I drink water? And I'm like, damn, baby, I'm so sorry. Like, I would never, ever do that again. So when she's backstage, I got to give her all my attention. That's just how it is.
100%. Yeah. And then I mean, that's definitely something which, prepping at the same time versus like competing on the exact same day is like different ball games.
It's brutal.
But yeah, I do feel like, the other thing is like, with having a, girlfriend, it's great doing things together, but obviously something that I think has been super valuable is like, also, you need that guy time because you can't be treating your girlfriend like another guy, in the sense like sometimes all the bro stuff, like we got, you know what I'm saying, is like, it's like, you can't. you need to go.
It's the same. I feel like it's the same thing with like business as well. Like sometimes I'm talking to her like, baby, we gotta go hard. This is what we gotta do. And I'm like, yeah, she's just my girlfriend. Bro. Like, relax. And it's tough, man. Yeah, guy time is definitely needed, bro. Definitely.
100%. Well, look, brother, this has been an awesome podcast. For the people that want to check you out, where can they find you? And where, are there any obviously sponsors, the coaching that you want to drop?
Yeah, definitely. So find me at Jermaine Gadsden, JERMAINE, Gadsden, GADSDEN _ on Instagram, and it's the same exact thing on TikTok. and yeah, we'll just rock and roll from there.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure having you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
It's been a great video, man. Peace.
Awesome.